I have my name twice here. I got to change that.
You want me to send it to you and text it to you? Or send it? Okay.
Good text.
Okay.
That way I can't be linked.
Yeah.
I might change yours to Reels Fernandez. Rick,
Oh, shit. Yeah.
there you are.
You want something specific?
Well, it's on
Oh, it's just for mine? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. No,
I
you know
could
what? You want to
change
put him? Put his.
What do you want me to put
like
yours?
your like Instagram handle or your Twitter handle or just Ramon Cardenas or what do you want to put? Oh, okay. Okay. Hold on, my bad. That's not the. I don't know if you can get to it from what I just sent.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Mario Cavazos? What's up, Wesley Perkins? Good morning.
I'm saying nothing.
What's up, Mario? Remember, it's Friday and what? We don't give a damn.
Yeah, that's. Oh yeah, I mean, that's a link to the. Yeah. It's Friday and we don't give a damn. What's
Yeah.
up? We got Mario Cavazos in the chat.
Wesley
Perkins,
Sith,
Tony
Elias is
Hernandez,
here.
Sith, all the regular locals are in the chat. Y'all are in for a special treat today.
Mira, Tony Hernandez. He
¿Qué
says,
dice?
Órale, Joe is the Spurs prophet now.
Pacers win the shit. Then the Cowboys will go to the playoffs. Where do you stand on football, bro? You Cowboys fan or not? Cowboys? There you go. All right.
Matt Gomez, he goes,
Cowboys,
vamos
right,
necios, por vida.
It's a constant heartbreak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Constant heartbreak.
I want to get Matt Gomez in the studio. I want to talk SAFC, but I want him here.
Yeah, we do need to get Matt Gomez talking SAFC. You ever do SAFC though? You ever been to the game? It's a good time. You started as a soccer guy, right? Or
Welcome
you're still
to
soccer.
another
You're
episode
still-
of the
I
Area
used to
210
be, right? Yeah.
podcast with Mike
The SAFC
Jimenez
is a
and
good
Joe
time.
Garcia.
Like, to go to the
Make
games
sure
and
to
shit.
subscribe and
fun.
hit that
I
like
like
button.
the work.
Join the
What's that?
discussion as
I
we
love the workout.
broadcast
Oh yeah.
live from
Yeah.
beautiful West San
Yeah,
Antonio.
yeah.
And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
Oh, awesome.
All right, welcome to another episode here of the Area 210 podcast. I'm your host, Joe Garcia. I'm joined today in studio by the one and only, the infamous Fernandez.
Yep.
What's up, man?
What's up? Hey, I got the NBA draft gear already. Got the hats, exclusive draft gear. Got the El Jefe, right? Campeche, all local, right? And speaking of local, we got a special guest with us today. World Championship boxing contender, 26-2, 14 knockouts. San Antonio's own Ramon Dinamita Cardenas. Appreciate having you, brother. Yeah, man. Appreciate you having. So we're gonna talk boxing today. We're gonna talk some Spurs. We're gonna talk the Pacers game last night. But yeah, man. Mike's he's on vacation. He's off today. He's enjoying his time.
I know they'll let him back, bro.
They might not let him back. As always, the man that does the Iron Man that doesn't take vacation is Joe in studio producing. Off screen, because I don't want y'all to see how beautiful and sexy she is Chicana Fuerte.
She
is
can come
here.
in. She can come and
She's
give us a
here.
little
She
glimpse.
can come in. She can come here, baby. Come
She don't
over
want
here.
to.
I
She
want you
being
to. I want
shy.
them to see your hat because she's got
matching.
she's got the matched hat too. Come in, baby. There, get it. You're in between. There you go. So she's got the Spurs draft day hats. But the bucket. But yeah, so she's here. She's doing her co-producing. She's doing her pictures. She's doing all the great things she does. Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good show today. Like I said, man, I'm excited. We got a very special guest in Ramon Cardenas, who's a world championship fighter. If you've been under a rock, you missed an amazing fight that he had with one of, if not the best pound for pound fighter in the world, a Japanese monster, Naoya Inoue. We'll get into that. But even though he's gained a lot of recognition internationally and nationally from that one fight, he's much more than just that one fight. It's just like anything in life where, you reach a certain pinnacle and everybody wants to remember you for that, which is great, but there's much more to it than that. It takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get to that point. And we're going to talk about his upbringing, McCullough grad, here in San Antonio, born and raised. We're going to talk about his upbringing. We're going to talk about some of his background, amateur pedigree, his pro fights, and then his ties to the Spurs. Again, if you saw that fight on ESPN, which was at Cinco de Mayo weekend, which was, it was a great weekend of boxing. It was the weekend of the Times Square fights, and then there was the Canelo fight. Unfortunately, those didn't deliver. Canelo and Skull was kind of a snooze fest. The Times Square fights were cool, but we had that upset with Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney ran all over the ring. Teofimo looked good. I think Teofimo looked really good. Yeah. But Ramon and Inoue ended up stealing that weekend, and they saved the weekend. And a lot of fighters said that. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit later. But again, gracious to come to in studio with us. He's busy. He's training. He's getting ready for what's next, right? And we'll talk about that too. But luckily, he's here with us. And again, during that fight on ESPN, if you look closely, you see Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson in his training, in his locker room, in his corner. So we'll talk a little bit later about his ties to the Spurs. But right now, Joe, what you want to hit the there was a game yesterday. I think there was a game yesterday. I don't know. I was on a flight yesterday from San Diego. Apparently there was a game yesterday. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, look at this, man. Yesterday we're gonna go ahead and show what they were doing. They were getting the NBA trophy. They ready for the OKC, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah.
I guess the Pacers saw that and they had something to say about it because they forced a game 7. I was telling everybody what was going to happen is it was going to split, right?
Yeah.
So the Pacers, they beat OKC by a final score of 108-91. You got good production out of the Pacers starting 5. You had Pascal Siakam, played 32 minutes, had 16 points. Aaron Nesmith, he had 10 points. You had Tyrese Halliburton, who was a big question mark because he didn't show up the last game, but it was because he had a calf strain. He had played 23 minutes, added 14 points, propelled his team to victory there to help him get that dub, and TJ McConnell. And then you had Obi Toppin going off, man, 20 points. So the Pacers said, not today. Forced the pivotal game 7 that's going to be happening here. And I was telling everybody, don't sleep on the Pacers. What happened with Mike's prediction? Pacers in 5, or no, OKC in 5, and then that was OKC in 6. Some of y'all's posts that you put on social media didn't age well. Yeah,
and for good reason. OKC looked like a beast recently, right? They were cruising through the playoffs, right? Everybody was saying they had it. They were crowning them. I heard Thunder in a sweep. I heard Thunder in 5. And Halliburton.
Like that. I ain't gonna lie.
What's that?
It looked like that the first game.
It did.
Yeah,
You're right.
It looked like
it did. It looked like that. But again, just like underdogs, and we underdogs know how underdogs are. The Pacers kept fighting, man. They kept fighting. They kept on pace. No pun intended. They kept on pace, and they they fought to a game 7, bro, and they did not want to lose on their home court yesterday. They did not, they have the trophy, right? They have to be prepared because in case it happens, right? I hate to bring up sore memories and I'll put a dagger in my own heart. That 13 Spurs and Heat, right? They had the ropes, they had everything, right? They had, because they have to be ready. They have champagne in the locker room, right? They have all that stuff ready, right? Just in case they start putting tarps over stuff because they're gonna start, partying.
They got the stage back ready to go.
Bro. And then they got to take it all back, man, because things happen. But that's what happened yesterday.
It's just like a boxing match, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they go ahead and they crown the champ, right? Right before the match even starts,
right?
But what did we always say? You can be losing the whole match.
Yeah,
just takes one punch, bro, and that's it. Yeah.
So Mike Tyson said, right? Mike Tyson always said, he said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And again, like that's a good segue into what we're going to talk about later. We got some super chats coming in.
We got some super chats coming in, but I was going to show this too. Since we are talking about the NBA finals. 20 years ago, yesterday, we had this. Man, you remember this? You remember where you were at? Spurs fan?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Look
Games
at that, bro.
tied right here.
Yep.
2-piece.
Big shot Rob, baby.
In the Palace, bro. 2-2.
This is 2-2.
It was tied.
Oh, yeah. Now, this is game 5. 2-2.
To the corner, and then as they drop down, they go.
Look at that. Big shot Rob. I hated him in a Lakers jersey, bro. I hated him in a Lakers jersey. I hated him in a Rockets jersey. But the moment he put that silver and black, shit, we love you, baby.
Bro, man, he went off on this game too because this is the one where he went in with that left-handed dunk. He just went sailing in the air. Boom, bro.
Hey,
that was it.
Hey, Robert Horry, man, he was so pivotal to a lot of the Spurs.
Hey,
playoff
he
wins.
went and he did that little hip check to Steve Nash.
He gave Nash
a
little love
he gave him a little tap,
He
bro.
gave Nash a little love tap.
No era nada.
Yeah, man, it wasn't nothing, man. He gave him a little love tap.
All
so
right.
we got some super chats, and Ramon. So the super chats, our fans or our followers will pay us X amount of dollars to help us keep this show going, and we call them super chats, right? So we put them up on the screen and stuff like that. So again, we got an in studio guest,
Yes.
Ramon Cardenas, who's never been on the show before. So I'm explaining to him how our chats work. And if you guys in the chat have any questions for Ramon, by all means, put them out there and
Yeah.
we'll get to them.
Let's get to the super chats.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
All right, thanks, Mario Cavazos. He puts, "What's up, Ramon Cardenas?" He goes, "Wishing you much success. Wish Jimenez was there today." He goes, "To witness if he can take a body shot from you."
So we have our actual host who hosts this show Monday through Friday, usually our good friend Mike Jimenez. He used to do some stuff for different news outlets, and now he's doing this podcast. So he is the host of this show. He's on vacation today. He's off. So that's what they're talking about. So they're saying it would have been funny to see if he could have took a body shot from you.
He would have.
I would have paid for that. I would have paid to see Jimenez take a body shot from our guy right
I
here.
would be Cardenas, hit him in the liver, bro. Liver shot. I said, "Get up, man.
Yeah,
Get up."
Jimenez, he has a lot of takes that are questionable, so people would love to see him get a body shot.
I want
Put
to
it
see him
that
get
way.
back up from that liver shot. Once they hit you,
He
bro,
won't get up, bro.
Get up,
He
bro.
won't get up, bro. Yeah. Don't let the 120, 130 pound. What are you at? About 140 right now? Yeah, you walking around 140? Or okay. Don't let 140, 30 fool you. That it sounds small, but shit.
It's a lot of power right
yeah,
there,
oh yeah.
bro.
Oh yeah. Don't let it fool you.
Yeah, and we got another one.
Here comes the money.
All right. Thank you so much, Matt Lerma, for that $2 super chat. He says, Matt Lerma, he says, Pacers in 7. Let's freaking go.
Hey, it could happen, man. I mean, anything can happen. You know, you're down to a 1 game. Man, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'd rather it be Pacers in 7, to be honest. Man, it turned out to be a good series. You know, I know a lot of people were saying it was going to be boring and it was small markets, but it turned out to be a really, really good series.
And I think we got another super chat. No, that was it for now.
Okay.
We'll get another one. If I missed you, let me know. That way
Yeah.
I could go back and address it.
Yeah, the chats are rolling in. Our chat is powered by MCS General Contracting. Keeps the chat going, keeps the chat powered. And man, it's hot and heavy.
Some of the people are saying, our listeners are saying that they would have paid to see Cardenas give a body shot to Jimenez.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So again, the Pacers are underdogs. Sunday is game 7. It's do or die, 1 game, winner take all. Much like underdog prize fighting. You know what I mean? It's one. There's no tomorrow. Game 7 is like a world championship fight. Yeah. There's no way. Well, maybe we can win tomorrow. Maybe we can win this day, right? So going into again our guest Ramon Cardenas, 26-2, 14 knockouts. We're going to talk about his career and how he came up. But again, what I want to, first start off is, again, you're born and raised in San Antonio,
Yes, sir.
McCullough grad. I know you were raised by a hardworking father. You know, we're all a week, removed from Father's Day. And I know you have a strong relationship with your father, and a lot that you do ties back to your father and how he brought you, your brother, and your sister up, right? As a single father. So let's talk about that right now. If, some of your upbringings and things that made you who you are today.
I mean, I'm like everybody else in the sense of I come from South Side San Antonio.
Southside.
And then I think just my dad, being a big role in my life, taking us to sports. And I tell people this all the time, man. I don't have kids yet, but I do. I do when I do have kids, I want to make sure that they're very deeply like involved in sports, because sports kind of like how growing up your teachers used to tell you, or you'd see movies and be like, oh, sports are a lot like life. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but you live to fight another day, or you live to play another game. And so it's kind of the same, like, it really is true. So, I'm very, very, very simple, but in a sense, I think, being heavily involved in sports my whole life kind of like shaped me to who I am today. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, I'm grateful for that.
Absolutely. So you were a soccer guy, right? As a kid, you started out playing soccer, right?
Yeah, I started out playing soccer since I can remember, man. And then I just kept playing. And then I was always playing with like my brother's 3 years older than me. So I would play like in his team.
Gotcha.
I would never play. Yeah,
you play up.
I'd play up to their level, and I would never play with kids my age. And it got to a point where when I would play with kids my age, like I was like
dominating
them, and so I love soccer. I loved it for the first half of my life, really.
Yeah. Okay. That was your first love.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I found that interesting, and I did. for the show, I did some research on our guy here, and I saw that, and I read that he was started off soccer, which again, for endurance and for getting in shape, that's a great thing, right? Some of our folks in the chat are talking about SAFC versus Austin FC soccer, which is, you know, the different clubs that we have out here. You know, people are giving Chicana Fuerte shit because she shoots for Austin FC now. And hey, it's not, don't,
hey, it is what
it is. You know, we got to go where the money is, right? We got to go where the money is. So she's done stuff for SAFC and she's done a lot of stuff for them, but she's also branching out and doing stuff in Austin, which is pretty awesome, right? She does videography and photography and stuff.
Don't
so
hate,
it's
appreciate,
awesome.
man.
Exactly, right? Both clubs are amazing, actually. You know, SAFC is a good time. If you ever had a chance to get out there, it's fun. It's a cheap, you know, family affair. We go out there a lot. And SAFC is fun. The tailgates are awesome. They got free food, free booze. You kind of tip and stuff like that. So there's a lot of local communities out there that chip in for that. So
look at Tony Hernandez.
It'd be a good time.
He's saying soccer great for footwork, and that helps with boxing. Yeah. There you go, man.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what like kind of I was alluding to is you know, how Ramon started with soccer. Again, with stamina, footwork, and a lot of stuff that you learn in soccer. Which you know, probably translates over. You know, you got like when Wemby plays soccer, you know, a lot of those French guys, a lot of those European guys that come overseas that play basketball are big soccer guys. You know, Sandro Mamuskalasvili is a soccer guy. What's the name of that cat from France that we traded? Man,
which one?
The guy that Jesus Christ, the guy that we had him last year and he was a rookie and we traded him.
Oh,
he was
Wemby's
buddy.
Sissoko.
Sissoko. Sidi Sissoko. He was a regular at the SAFC games. He would come out there a lot and he would always represent. So
Jeremy Sohan goes out
Sohan
there
does
too.
Yep.
Because in Europe, man, soccer is like the biggest sport
right.
in all of Europe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
that's facts. That's facts. Yeah, soccer is global, man. Soccer is a global sport, man, and people love it, man.
Yeah, especially when Mexico comes over here. Yeah, Viva Mexico, dude.
Yeah. So you watch like the World Cup and you get into that kind of stuff.
I love it. I literally was telling my dad this yesterday because we have a room that it's like a side room in the house, and it's kind of like this.
Yeah.
And I told my dad, I was like, man, let's like either we don't go to the World Cup since you know the World Cup's gonna be here.
Yeah.
I said if we don't go, I'm gonna fix that room and make it like a badass room so we can watch the World Cup in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so right now I'm kind of like indecisive. I'm
planning
to see what exactly we're gonna do.
Because what is it, LA? It's in LA.
It's in they have one game in Monterrey. They have one game in Mexico City.
Oh, okay.
So it's like all over, all over
the part of the country.
I think it's United States, Mexico, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Canada.
Okay. Because all North America.
All of North America.
Got you. Okay, that's cool.
You know what's cool, man, about the World Cup? Like even me and my daughter watch it. We watch the Women's World Cup because I always try to get her. Even at a young age, I was taking her to the WNBA Silver Stars games when they were here, just to show her, like, hey, women can play sports. Absolutely. You can do it too. You know, man, whatever you decide to do in life. And we were watching the Women's World Cup since she was little. Even now, as she's getting older, that's one thing me and her do. We look forward to it.
Yeah.
And she loves going to Spurs games. She loves and watching that Women's World Cup, man. We get like all donned up for it, like red, white, and blue. And my wife used to come home at the time and she'd be like, what's going on? Because my daughter be screaming and yelling. And she's like, what are you doing to her? I say, that's what happens when you leave her with me, you know, like she picks up on some of the stuff that I have a passion for, which is sports.
Yeah.
You know, but it's cool that it's like a family thing, you know.
Yeah,
like,
the World Cup is like it's one of the most, if not the biggest, like watch sports like event in the world when it comes around, man. So that's pretty cool. I think again, you know, I think that's pretty cool because
absolutely,
because growing up, I love soccer, and so to know that other people still love soccer, like as much as I did once, it's like pretty cool.
People don't understand. Like some people are like, oh, I don't like soccer. It's boring. It's like, it's not boring, especially if you played it. Like all of us probably played soccer at some point when we were little or whatever, even in middle school, high school, whatever, you know, because sometimes you go out there on the field and you play whatever the coach tells you, right? So you played soccer before. It's exciting to be out there on the field, you know, and it's very physical, dude. Like you're running up and down. People are tripping you. You're falling on the ground. It hurts. You know, you get kicked in the face by the ball. It hurts. But, you know, I was going to tell you, man, another thing that I like doing, like in this room, you know, as you said, you have one that's similar to this, kind of off to the side. What I do in this room here, I have two sons, right? So my oldest son, he loves combat sports, man. So we watch boxing, we watch MMA, and that's a tradition that we have. Like the major fights, the big fights, and even he'll know too. He'll be like, "Hey, Dad, there's this up and coming fighter, man. We got to watch him. Watch his fight. He's boxing." So that's one thing that we do here in this room is that we watch boxing.
That's good.
You know, up and coming, not just the main events, but the guys that are up and coming, because that's the next generation of fighter.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I do. Like in boxing, I preach a lot about. Like here in San Antonio, at least, like to get the people to go, man, because I growing up like in the professional league, like it was kind of hard for us because the people before us, I won't ever say any names, but if right, like the people before us in boxing, they didn't really like give us a good example of like the people,
right. Representation.
The representation that they did
Yeah.
for San Antonio boxing wasn't very good.
Right.
So promoters and stuff, they didn't want to come to San Antonio because they're like,
Right.
like no,
it's like man,
they see the fighters,
trouble.
nothing but trouble fighters and stuff like that. And so, for us, it was harder, for the guys, me, for the guys coming up in my age group, it was hard for us.
Sure.
But now we're finally making a good way to
Absolutely.
like for the fighters in the future.
Yeah.
And it's just about supporting them. And I've been preaching a lot. Like
that's a good point.
Is true, man.
That's a really good point, because we had Jesse James Leja on this show a while back, and we talked about that. We talked about, again, if and I know what you're talking about. My pops grew up in that era with the Ayalas and all that, and I'll say it. I know you don't want to, and I don't know if that's what you're alluding to, but it was a black eye for San Antonio boxing, and it's a story. It's a cautionary tale of such talent. Such amazing talent, bro. And I say this on the show. We could have had somebody on the level of Sugar Ray Leonard, Pedro Duran, that level. I'm not exaggerating, bro. Right? That's how talented
he was getting ready to fight Marvin Hagler.
Exactly. Hagler, Hearns, right? When you talk about those guys, we would have had a San Antonio own in that mix, but because he wasn't doing the right things out of the ring, is why he ended up in prison and ended up doing other things.
You gotta have the right
for boxing,
right camp in your corner, man.
Exactly. So, like I was talking to Jesse James Leja about, there was an era where it was him, John Michael Johnson, Robert Quiroga, those fighters who were winning world titles and stuff like that. And now there's a big resurgence of San Antonio boxing. I think they call it the three-headed monster, which is our guy right here, Raina Cardenas. Mario Barrios, who's fighting Pacquiao soon, he's actually also said he's willing to come on to the show. So we're hoping to get Mario on here. Steph is working that and getting him. And I think he's got a good shot at being Pacquiao, to be honest. He really does, bro. He really does, bro. I mean, I think people are underestimating him, bro. I got it. It's Pacquiao. I grew up on Pacquiao. I love the guy, but bro, at this age and being removed from the ring as long as he has, to go in with a strong young kid like Barrios.
Come on, did I tell you, Rick? Father time's undefeated, man.
Exactly. Right. And then of course, bam. And then bam, you got Bam. So Bam getting ready to fight Kafu in Dallas. That's a big fight. So you again, Bam Rodriguez, Raina Cardenas, Mario Barrios. That's that three-headed monster who is bringing class back to San Antonio boxing, bringing something to be proud of. You know, right? That's the goal for your group, right?
Like for me, my big goal is, and then if you look back, man, I've done toy drives, I've done little Halloween, like drives and stuff like that, simply to because growing up, I didn't have that one boxer we can look up to. You know what I mean? In the sense of the fighters that we had kind of looking up to, and not looking up to, but having before us.
Give you the example, right? What you're supposed to follow in the footsteps.
They weren't like the best of the examples.
Right.
So, for me, like I had a video and I said it, like, hopefully I can inspire that one kid that could do the same like me to do toy giveaways and, look out for the future. And,
for the community,
more than anything. So that's one thing that I do. I try to do as much as I can, to bring that awareness.
No, that's respectable, man. And we need that here in San Antonio. We need that, and again, I hear what you're saying, because I mean, I grew up, my dad was in and out of my life all my life. I really didn't have good role models. I was a young teenage father. I was doing the wrong things and all that. But I straightened my life out through the Marine Corps. I joined the Marine Corps when I was 18. Never looked back. I just retired last year. I did 21 years in the Marine Corps.
Thanks for your service, bro.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. But it's the same concept. I that was my thought process too. Was like, I have two sons who are looking at me to be a role model, an example, and I'm fucking off, and I'm doing the wrong thing, and I need to stop. I need to do something better. So I snapped and changed my life and never looked back. And that's kind of what Ramon is talking about. We need role models like that. You know, unfortunately, there are young men and women that don't have father figures, that don't have good role models, that don't have people in their life to put them in the right direction. So when you're lost and you're looking for something, you do turn to gangs and drugs because that is a structure. That is something that's
in the neighborhood, the barrio, dude.
Right,
like if you grow up in a certain area of town, sometimes that's the easy way out, you know, but it doesn't mean it's the right one, you know.
It's very easy to get caught up. Like I told this to everybody. I'm like, the first time I saw drugs, like a weed, was in 6th grade, bro.
Oh yeah, man.
There was a kid that he was in 6th grade with us, but he was supposed to be like a 9th grader already. He was already older than us. But he would get in trouble, and in his probation, they would make him go back to school. So he would always go back to the younger group, the age that he dropped out of, basically. And I'll never forget. So one day I am in class and I had him for class. He's like, "Hey bro, can you hold this for me?" And I was like, I didn't know what it was. And he's like, "No, it's because I'm gonna get searched. Like they already told me I'm gonna get searched and this and that." And I was like, something in my head just told me like, no, like don't do it. So I was like, nah, bro, like hell no. And then he ended up getting searched, bro. He got sent to juvenile.
That could have been you.
Yeah, it could have
been you, right? Easily. It's one decision
Yeah.
changes your life, right? Which it's any way you go. I think we have some super chats.
Yeah,
Joe,
we got a super chat coming in.
And we're getting some good talk and good convo, and it's hard because then I don't want to forget the super chats because I appreciate you guys, and we appreciate you guys chiming in. So by all means.
Money talk. Here comes the money.
So Mario Covas is dropping a $1.99 super chat. Appreciate you, man. He says, one grito for the special guest. So we have a thing, dude.
We have a thing. Joe will explain it. So we have a grito here on this show where people pay for it. They want to hear it. They love it. So let's hit it.
We got to do the grito.
They want to do it in honor of our
because we keep it
guests.
puro. We keep it puro on the show, you know?
I like that. I like that.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
I like that.
Hell yeah, with the Market Square in the background, bro.
We got
hell
to.
Yeah,
we had the other one with the viejito in front of Market Square, but we had to retire that one. We played it for a long time.
Too much.
Too much, bro. He's already too much. Yeah, so that's
I gotta get that one hombre. Shut up.
Yeah.
I gotta get that
one.
one.
Rest in peace for that dude, man.
He's
bro. Yeah, legend, bro. But yeah, man, for sure.
You know what? It was one thing that he said that was really important there. Like you're up and coming boxers, right? That looking up to you guys, right? It's good to impart that knowledge, you know, like they ask you a question or they'll be like, hey, you know, what should I do or how should I train or, you know, little inside tips, you know, it's good to share the knowledge. Like you were saying with these other fighters that are up and coming, because that's the next generation. And if nobody says anything, like they're not gonna know, you know, it's like that knowledge goes away, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it disappears basically.
Yeah. It's
important.
Right. And, you know, I know, like, again, Ramon had 106 amateur fights, right? Which is, man, that's a lot of fights. 4 national championships. Hey, that's, again, man, if like, I boxed amateur as a kid. I was with San Fernando when Jesse James was there. Joe Sousa, those guys.
I remember Joe Sousa.
Yeah, legend, bro. Like those guys. I had a cup of coffee with when my boy Oscar Diaz was fighting, coming up. Torito, man, that was my guy, man. We came up together. We would spar together. When Lou Duva came to see him, I was sparring with Oscar. They all came to see Oscar, but I was sparring with them, and I was giving them. It was like Inoue and you know. I was giving them a little run, you know, and you know, Lou Duva said something like, "Hey man, we might bring that guy for undercard." I said, "Say less. I'll take whatever you can give me, you know." But I fought James Kirkland in the amateurs and a couple of guys like that. But I started having kids, so I stopped boxing, you know. So I started, you know, I went my other way. But if you're an amateur fighter, man, you know, 4 national titles, that's impressive. I mean, because it's a tournament just to get there, you know, to get to the finals. And it's like, you know, you fight locally, then you fight state, right? And then you go to, you know, Gulfport, Mississippi or somewhere and then fight over there. And then you fight nationally, right? And wherever it may be, Colorado Springs, wherever they might be. So what do you remember about like your amateur days, you know, big fights or, you know, cities you went to or anything like that?
Man, I mean, in the amateurs, it was like I remember a lot of at the time I went to Ramos boxing team.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. Hey,
and
Arturo Ramos. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but he was one of our great national amateurs when I was young.
I think it was like a 6-time.
Yeah. Arturo Ramos was a great amateur for San Antonio. his brother Hector fought in the
Hector.
Air Force,
Yeah.
and then his dad. Actually, Steph's daughter Sophie trained with them for a little bit. Her,
Oh,
her
nice,
younger
nice,
daughter
nice.
trained with the Ramoses.
Nice,
But
yes.
Ramoses are stable. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I started there, and what I remember a lot is obviously the tournaments, but it was mainly so we had a bus, so that was like a van. We would call it the bus.
Yeah.
And we raised money we would raise money to go to these tournaments, right? So
it's not cheap, bro.
Yeah,
It's not cheap. You got to pay for yeah.
And I'll never forget. So we used to all just sell like plates,
Yeah.
they would give us like a certain amount of like little tickets and stuff.
Yeah.
And we'd have to sell them, and we'd go to military in Pleasanton and sell waters. We did everything to make some money to go to these tournaments. So then we got enough money to buy a van.
Yeah.
And that's mainly what I remember, like all the little
Getting in there, traveling to the
yeah. Going to the tournament in the vans, and everybody we had one kid who had a PSP at the time.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted to play it. So we take it away from him. We'd all take turns. And it was his PSP, but we would all like
it was all of ours.
It was all of
ours. Yeah.
So let me get in in on this fool. Pass it over here.
Yeah, like a lot of it's like, no, it's my turn. You already did for 20 minutes. It's all his PSP.
All the ride to McAllen or wherever you're going to fight, right?
We used to take trips to Florida, to Kansas City, Missouri, to Independence, Missouri. A lot of places, man.
Yeah.
And
that's cool. That's a cool story.
You know what?
Because again, people don't think about that kind of stuff. Like you
They
say,
don't.
You get there and the tournament is what it is, but it's like the journey getting there, right? Like
They have these kids that are around this area like every weekend doing the same thing, trying to raise money for their little league teams or whatever because they want to go to state or what have you. And they always have the families here on the corner, right on the side of the road right there with the water or whatever. And every time, I'm with my kids or something, and I always try to carry a little bit of cash on my money clip, right? And I'll give them like a 20 or something. Oh, you want 20? No, man, just give me one water, whatever. You keep the rest, bro. You're good, Yeah. But I see them all the time, like in the shopping center over here by Westover Hills and all that. And it's like, man, my heart always goes out to them because I'm like, they're out there hustling, man.
Yeah, they're doing something productive.
Sure.
Ultimately,
They could be doing something wrong. Right?
They
They could be
something
robbing
dumb.
people. They could be doing other stuff.
So that's trying something. Like I'll never forget. Me and my brother, we used to walk. You're familiar with the South Side, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you know where Cantrell is at?
Yeah.
We used to walk from Terra Wells, basically, from my school. We used to walk all the way to Ramos, right there in Morrison.
Yeah.
And when we would have to sell like tickets for like plate tickets and stuff like that. We used to walk to every before getting to the gym. We used to walk to every tire shop. Any shop that we can think of.
Yeah,
we would go because we would try to sell plates, and we'd go to the flea market and sell tickets. Man, we and again
hassle, man.
we did all that, right? And we could have been doing something else, but we took the right path.
Right. But that's also like a testament to Ramos, right? Because they're also teaching you lessons of nothing's free, bro. You gotta earn it, bro. Kids nowadays, a lot of them think things are free and you just get whatever that you're earning your way to go to those tournaments, right? So that's pretty cool. We have some pretty good chats on here. Can you go down one? Hanover Fist has a question, I believe, for our guy here. Is it true that is it true in boxing that women weaken the legs?
Oh Lord, dude.
I mean, it's like that in any it's just a testosterone.
Absolutely.
So and as a boxing, you need testosterone, and whenever you do have sexual intercourse or whatever, the testosterone leaves your body.
Yeah.
So then you have to build that testosterone again, and it takes a couple of days.
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey,
so that's really what it is. So it does to some extent. Yeah.
There's another question here from Tony Ornales. He said, "Hey Ramon, how old were you when you started boxing? My son is 10, loves basketball, but this boy has what is it say?
Quick hands
and stamina.
And his basketball.
Yeah. So he's asking you how old were you when you started boxing?
I started boxing when I was 12.
Yeah.
I was 12. A little, relatively, because there's kids who start.
Kids start 8, 6, 6. I was at 8 fighting. So honestly, 12. Look, there you go. Look, there I was right there.
Oh, that's
me in
cool,
San
man.
Fernando. Yeah. That's me in San
downtown?
Fernando. Yeah.
When
it was downtown. Yeah, San Fernando.
I trained there for a little bit.
Yep. That is
That's
Finito.
cool, man.
They used to call me Finito Fernandez.
Nice.
Hell yeah, she got the old school. But yeah, you're right. Actually, it's 12 sounds like, oh wow, that's young, bro. There's kids fighting at 6, 7, bro, competing, bro. So 12 is a little.
So that's what happened. I started boxing at 12, and it was cool. I was able to kind of you're young enough to still absorb.
Yeah.
Like as long as you're willing to listen,
Yeah.
you absorb all the information.
So I have a question. Whenever you were doing training at the Ramos's gym, were you there whenever the Tejas sisters were there?
Yeah,
Very
actually,
cool.
they were originally there before. So prior, so Turney, what did we call him? Turney.
Yeah.
He went to Florida for a little bit, and that was in 2000, I believe, 12 or 13 ish. So they were originally from Florida.
Mhm.
So they met Turney over there in Florida, and they were training with him over there. So when he came back from Florida, they followed. So I met them when they were in Florida first. And then I came, obviously I came back home and they came. So yeah, I was there whenever they went.
Very nice. I know. We had saw Reina. I forgot where exactly, but my daughter was with me, and I was like, "Oh look!" I was like, "She's a boxer," and my middle child, she's typical middle kid, always mad at everything. And you know what? You're gonna be my martial arts kid, so we're gonna put you in boxing. We're gonna do whatever you want, and we also have the boxing background. And I was like, this is gonna be easy. So we had asked Reina, like, where was she,
Fought
Training.
boxer.
where she was
Training
training at.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, at the Ramos gym. I was like, oh, okay, you know what? Like, that's not bad. Like, it's on the south side. We're going to be good. And I liked how, like, gritty it was. Like, I didn't want
Old
my,
school, bro.
I didn't want my daughter to,
Ain't no
like,
LA
be in
Fitness,
AC.
yeah.
And her dad, too, was like, are we sure this is good? I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, she needs to sweat. Like, and she was, like, around 4 or 5 years old. But I was like, no, like, I want her to get, like, the training. I want her to know, like, we got to build the body first before we get in the ring. And at that time, she was the only little girl her age. And so whenever she would get in the ring with the little boys, all they did was, like, they were practicing their defense. Like,
And they're defense.
The Ramos men were like, don't you dare put your hands up. And then
oh yeah, you would have to put your hands down. I remember doing that.
And then whenever they in the back where they had that big, they were building
the
hill. And so that's whenever we were there, and my daughter was like, I don't want to go. I mean, she was little. She was 4. I was like, nope, go on up there. And it's funny because
how old is your daughter now?
She's 12. But
I mean, you should put her back in.
Well, we want to put her back
Honestly,
in. Yeah, we want to put her
you
back
should
in.
put her back in.
Yeah, we really do. Yeah.
But no, whatever girl was there would hold her hand and be like, hey,
that's good. That's cute. Yeah.
And so, like, if whatever workout that they had that day, she would do it. I mean, it would take her a little while, but I was like, nope, it says 25 push-ups. You need to do those 25 push-ups.
And that's the discipline. Like, it's like, again, boxing and life is like real similar, because when stuff gets hard, it's easy to be like, oh, it's too hard,
right, it's easy to quit.
But it's harder. It's harder, and it's more satisfaction whenever things get hard and you continue,
right,
and you're able to say, you know what, like, I'm gonna keep going and I'm gonna keep doing it. And that's, I mean, honestly, you should put her back in.
No, you know what? We've been talking about that a lot, and I think it would be good for her to go back in. She had stopped for a while, and we've been busy, but I think you're right. We want to put her back in, so we definitely
got some questions here.
We got some questions. Yeah, we got.
There's a good one here, dude. Mexican Junior, big fan of the show, supporter as well.
Absolutely.
He says he has a question for Ramon. He says, did any boxing movies inspire him during his boxing journey? Like, you got any favorites?
Nah.
I watch movies? No,
I love movies, man.
I
love movies.
I know, you love Game of Thrones, right?
Game of Thrones.
I know you're a Game of Thrones guy.
My favorite movie is Gladiator.
Okay.
The first one.
The first one, man.
Yeah.
The OG.
The OG
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. I've always thought, and this is just my personal opinion, man. I might get some backlash on this one, but I've always thought the boxing movies are
kinda
so
cheesy.
corny, man.
Kind of cheesy.
You boxed before, so
cheesy.
you know, like,
course,
the acting is so bad.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
it's
right.
so bad.
It's like with me when it comes to military movies, right? Marine.
Yeah.
I watch that and I'm like, come on, bro. I'm like, it wouldn't happen that way.
Yeah, like,
because I'm a Marine, right?
That's what I'm saying.
You're a boxer. You watch boxing.
know.
Yeah, you're like, I agree with you.
Like,
I get that.
they're
Some of those
so
are so
cheesy,
cheesy.
man.
You know which one is good though, and the story, and it's an old movie. It's called Price of Glory. It's with Jimmy Smits. It's an old movie. It's like an old 90s movie. And it's more about a father and his sons and what he's doing with them. And it's a boxing movie. And the boxing scenes are cheesy. Don't get me wrong. But the story is good. It's called Price of Glory. Yeah. If you ever get a chance, maybe check that one out.
It's like the movie Southpaw.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, like,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so,
it's
like,
not really about boxing.
Yeah.
the background is
yeah.
the storyline is
The
great,
storyline is yes,
but
yes.
it's just so stupid when
Yeah.
the guy's like southpaw,
Yeah,
and then the guy turns southpaw,
yeah,
and
like,
knocks him
bro, that
out. It's
would've-
like,
yeah,
dude,
come on, bro.
that's
Yeah,
not gonna happen.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's
Oh,
And
so
see,
man.
you're jaded as a fighter
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you watch that, and it's just like anything you're into. If you're a cyber guy, right? You know,
Yeah.
my Joe's a cyber security cyber guy.
Yeah.
So anything with cyber in a movie, he's like, nah,
Yeah.
that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
You know. So whatever you're,
Like
I
when they
get
have
that.
that and the spy espionage and
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
I'm like, no,
Yeah,
bro, come on,
yeah.
man.
If you're, really into something, or you're an expert at something, or you've done it your whole life, you start
Yeah.
poking holes, right? You start poking
Yeah.
holes and stuff. You're like, nah, that wouldn't happen that way.
Yeah,
They got another question from
We got our guy Mark. Actually, Mark Cavazos always talks about this kid. His name is Rick La Bombita Fernandez.
nice. Yeah,
He's Elizondo's nephew, or
yeah,
one of the Elizondo,
yeah.
right?
I've known
Right.
him since he was a little kid. I met
Okay.
him
Yeah.
a long time
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. Mark Cavazos always talks about him. He's asking if you know him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know him since he was a little kid.
Yeah.
He had to have been like 8, 9 years old when I
Right.
met him.
Yeah. Solid kid. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, good kid, good kid.
Yeah.
Good
Is he
fighter.
one of the Elizondo's nephews, right? Or something?
He's a
Or was
nephew.
it
He's a nephew. Yeah.
The Elizondo brothers were great amateurs
Yeah,
too, in
great-
San Antonio,
great-
man.
great
Like
fighters
they,
too.
I mean, Combo fought freaking Nonito Donaire in the U.S. trials,
Mm-hmm.
So you got the Elizondos. I remember those, and there was a lot of good amateur fighter, and man. Amateur, it's just like a number one draft pick that doesn't pan out in the NBA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many really, really great amateur fighters that didn't pan out pro,
Yeah.
and no, nothing against them. It's just
No, I mean,
it's a different style, it's a different
Yeah.
thing.
That's
And
just
then there's
life.
guys who maybe weren't as great amateurs that are better
Yeah.
pro. Like the style might be better suited for pros. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like again, no offense to you, but again, 4 national titles is a good thing. But you weren't like a
Yeah,
Olympian
no,
you're right,
yeah,
nothing like
no,
that.
no,
But
I
you
have to take no
right.
offense to
No,
that,
no,
yeah.
I'm not saying no. I'm
Because-
just saying
no,
you
because
weren't a highly
he's-
touted Olympian, but
he's
your
right, he's
style
right.
was probably better suited for pros.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
there's probably other amateurs when you were coming up that were way
Yeah,
highly
yeah,
touted that
yeah.
are not at the level he is as a
Yeah.
pro,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
bro, you hit it spot on, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's people in the amateurs like that I kind of grew up with, 10-time national champions.
yeah.
And at the
Yeah.
time, it was harder to be a national champion
Yeah.
because you had to make, regionals
Yeah,
and win
yeah,
regionals,
yeah.
go to
Yeah,
state,
state,
and then
yep,
from
yep,
state,
yeah,
you
yeah,
go to
yeah,
nationals.
yep.
So you got to fight a total of almost 12 times.
Yeah. 4 different
Four-
tournaments,
four-
5 tournaments,
three, yeah,
Or 3
like-
fights in between every
Right.
tournament. something
It's
like
just
that. Yeah,
crazy,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
To win 1 national championship. And now, a couple years ago, they had Western qualifiers,
Yeah,
Eastern qualifiers.
Yeah.
They had this tournament,
Yeah,
that tournament.
yeah.
By the time you knew it,
Yeah.
like people were calling themselves 20-time national
Yeah,
champions.
but
and you're like, bro,
you
like,
didn't win it.
where
Yeah.
was all these tournaments when I was in the amateurs? Like,
Yeah.
all we had
Yeah.
was Junior Olympics,
Yep.
Silver Gloves,
Yep.
the
Pan Am
reside,
Games,
and
stuff like that.
the Pan Am, but even Pan American.
Yeah.
The Pan American, you had to make to the US. You had to make it to the US team.
Right,
to go to
right.
the Pan Am.
Yeah.
So you had all these, like you had the U.S. championships
Yeah.
when you got older,
Yeah.
and the national Golden Gloves,
Right.
And you had the national PAL.
Yeah. Pow. Yep.
But,
Melissa Lederer,
like, Those really are the 5.
those are the only
tournaments
ones, yeah,
that you had.
and that used to be because I'll be honest, man, I've kind of I haven't really kept up as much, but the Olympic qualifiers were really just those. Like to make
Yeah,
the Olympic
exactly.
qualifier, it was national Golden Gloves, PAL, U.S.
And the US
championships.
championships.
There was again, it was such a small amount of just to make it to the Olympic trials. Then you got to fight in the trials to try to make the team,
Yeah.
right? But like it's just like watered down. Like now, like
Yeah.
almost like the belts in
Yeah,
pro,
yeah,
right?
uh-huh.
All the different belts. It used to be just, hey, bro, WBC, IBF, WBA,
Yeah.
or WBO.
So many belts,
But now
man.
it's all this other wash interim and
Yeah.
this and that.
What think about the interims and all that stuff,
Yeah.
man. Like me personally, I like them because what happens is you give an opportunity for these guys to fight,
Yeah.
right? And then now you have to fight like the main guy.
kind of
right?
forces
So-
you to
So for
forces,
example,
yeah,
you're the champion, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna pick and choose who you want to fight.
Right.
And let's say you want to fight him, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
from him you want to fight her.
Yeah.
But I'm the interim title
Yeah.
champion. So then you have to fight with me.
right.
If you want to keep your belt,
Yeah,
you
it kind
have
of
to fight
forces
with
you
me.
in.
Yeah.
So it forces.
Yeah.
But in any business, in anything, money it
talks.
rules
Yeah.
everything.
Oh,
money
yeah.
talks, right?
Mhm.
So for example, if you have money and you're like, I don't want to fight Ramon,
Yeah.
he's too dangerous.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna fight him. You're gonna pick and choose,
Pay it off.
and
Pay
you're gonna be
off
like,
the fee.
here,
Yeah.
bro, like and you no, I don't want to fight him, and the whatever the organization or whatever are gonna be like, okay, as long as money's coming in, we're good.
Right. I'll take it.
I'll take it, right? So that's really what it is. So being an interim champion, now these organizations will tell you, hey man, no, you have to fight Ramon.
Right.
And you're like, well, I don't want to. Well, then
You'll
what?
be
We're gonna strip you the title, and then Ramon becomes elevated to full champion.
Yeah.
Right.
So now if you want it back, you gotta fight Ramon. So that's why I like the interim title.
Sure.
Because it forces.
Now, like you said, if it works in the way it's supposed to work,
Mhm.
without people just paying out and all that,
Yeah. So it forces
sure.
you to have to fight the best.
So you don't just coast and just kind of yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes
we
a lot
got
of
an
sense.
incoming super chat from the Drew Show. Thank you, Drew.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Drew Show is saying an under the radar movie is Streets of Gold with Wesley Snipes. He's saying, and Adrian Pazdar, he goes, it's about amateur Olympic boxing.
I haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that
I haven't
one.
seen that
either.
one
I have to
actually.
check
I gotta
out,
check
man.
it out. Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
And they were asking, what do you think about this? Because it's been one of those things that's been a hot topic over the last couple of years, because really Floyd Money Mayweather is the one that started it, man. After he retired from boxing, he still wanted to make a little bit of money on the side, you know, and he started doing exhibition fights, right? And they were charging like pay-per-views, and they were doing exhibition fights. People still wanted to see him fight. He was a big draw, big name. There's not discounting anything he's done in the ring, you know, but go make your money, King, you know, whatever you got to do. But now they have they're talking about like Jake Paul and all them, and like how they have the, that upcoming fight that he has with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. In the ring. And that's a pay-per-view. But the thing is, he's the main event, and people are paying to see an exhibition boxing match, but they have legit boxers that are fighting on the undercard. And some of those fights are pretty good, But they were saying, like, what's your thoughts on like the exhibition kind of, pay-per-view thing now?
I mean, I think, me personally, I think Jake Paul is doing a good job, man.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, like, prior to this, like, you had up and coming fighters, like up and comers that were making noise.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like what Jake Paul's doing, man. He's giving a platform to a lot of fighters, man, especially like the women fighters.
That's fact.
Hey,
you guys have a daughter,
Right.
that might want to box one day, and she might want to become a future star. That there
that's
gives
facts.
her a platform of like pushing the women.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what
No,
I mean?
MVP promotions with Amanda Serrano and all everything they do.
they're doing
He
a
does do a
very
lot
good
for the
job with
women's
women.
boxing.
Very
Had
good.
millions of
a lot
people
of-
watching that last match.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for example, if they told me, hey, yo, Ramon, you want to fight on a Jake Paul card? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, like I'd be stupid to not fight on it.
And it was at
Because-
Jerry World. This last one was over there, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be stupid to say, no, I don't want to fight.
Right.
I'm going to keep the dignity of boxing. No,
Yeah.
bro, like,
You get paid.
I'm
Yeah,
getting,
yeah.
I'm getting the exposure that
Yeah.
I want. I'm fighting, I'll be fighting probably for a big payday.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't I want to do that?
Yeah. Mario fought on one of Jake
That's what
Paul's
I'm saying.
undercards. Yeah. Mario's fought on
You
the
think Mario's
yeah.
embarrassed to say that?
Hell no.
no.
Yeah.
Big platform.
Yeah.
Big platform, huge platform. That he
With
has.
Netflix too.
Yeah.
I'm
you know,
saying, like,
yeah.
he's
It's
doing a-
exposure. It's about exposure,
He's
right?
doing a
And-
really good
yeah.
job, man. And
Yeah.
and obviously, I think the antics outside of boxing, like, it's one thing, but
Yeah.
me personally, I
Yeah.
think he's doing a good job.
Him and
man.
his brother, they're smart, man.
Yeah,
And people
smart
like
businessmen.
discount them. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
this guy, you don't know what he's doing, man. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
They make a lot of money, dude, and they're
Yeah.
great promoters, man.
Yeah.
just think about it, bro. They started doing fucking Vine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
excuse my language,
YouTubers,
Yeah,
they
you know?
started
yeah,
doing
yeah,
Vine,
exactly.
man. And then they went to being
Yeah.
YouTubers, and then from
Yeah.
there they went to being
Smart, bro.
social media.
Smart
They
businessmen.
making money,
Yeah.
dude.
Now
They-
they're making millions and
Yeah.
millions of dollars,
Yep.
bro, per fight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
am I gonna hate on that? Hell no,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
I wish I had a little bit of that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna be in boxing in the ring with Prime on the
That's
front,
what I'm
right,
saying,
yeah,
right,
right there,
Hey,
dude.
nothing wrong with that, bro. But yeah, man. So we talked a lot about you and your amateur career. You turned pro in 2015,
Yeah,
right? You're 19,
19.
19 years old, turned pro in Mexico, right?
Yeah, in Piedras Negras.
Yeah.
Piedras
And
Negras.
you had a lot of fights in Mexico, right?
Yeah, I had it.
Monterrey.
Yeah,
and-
Monterrey,
yeah.
Piedras Negras.
Yeah.
I fought in Cancun.
Yeah.
Once I had like maybe total like of 10
Yeah.
about.
There's like I think there's like a stretch in your career where it was like 6 straight in
Mhm.
Mexico. It was like bam,
Mhm.
bam, bam, bam,
Mhm.
right? You suffered your first loss, right? In
Mhm.
Mexico,
Mhm.
a guy named Danny Flores.
Yeah.
What do you remember about that?
Man, I mean, it was like a weird, like, I was only at the time, I think now I'm older, so I understand boxing is like a full-time like job in a sense. Like you have to train on a constant basis. And at the time, like I was knocking everybody out. So I was like,
this is easy. I got
like
I got
I'm
this.
just I'm good. So I went to camp with like maybe a month left for like a 10-round fight, and I wasn't really training prior to that. And my diet was very bad as well. And so everything that could happen wrong went wrong.
Yeah.
Like in a sense myself of the like the non-focus. Like I wasn't really focused. And just the immaturity of like, oh, I'm only gonna train when I got a fight coming up.
Right. You didn't take it seriously.
Yeah, I didn't take it serious.
Well, and then at that time, you were undefeated. You were knocking people out.
Like,
so it kind of became,
I
took it for granted.
I took it serious to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like I took it serious to like I was in the gym, but I wasn't really training like the way I was supposed to. And then I wasn't really running every day. Like I was just going to the boxing gym.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, I was knocking people out. So I was like, it was like I thought it was gonna be easy walk, walk in the park. So then I get to the fight. Well, I didn't eat for 3 days to make weight.
Ooh,
so
man.
I get to the fight. I make weight. I was like tired, bro. Like, I was tired.
Yeah.
So then again, the immaturity of as soon as I made weight, I go to eat a burger.
Oh,
and it's like the whole it, like messed up my whole stomach. So I weighed in at 123 about. The next day I was at 124 and a half after eating all this food.
Yeah.
I had the runs all day and I had told my dad, yo, like I feel sick. And then he's like, hey, you want to cancel the fight? I said, nah, like I'm good. Like all these people came for me,
Yeah, for sure.
So first round, I go out there and I like easy. I was like, oh, I'm gonna knock him out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I go into the second round. I just felt like my whole body, like air just like leave my body. Like I just felt like everything just leave my body. And I was like, oh shit. And sure enough, man, second round, I hit him with the right hand. I messed up my knuckle. Like I don't know if you see my knuckle right here.
Yeah.
I messed up my knuckle again. And I couldn't use my right hand the whole fight. So I'm just using my left. And then I was already like messed up. And the whole fight I needed to fucking use the restroom. Like I had the runs. I still had the runs the whole fight. Yeah. So I'm over here fighting. My hands messed up.
Jeez.
My stomach's messed up.
Oh,
my body feels like shit.
Your mind is just not even in it.
And I don't like the fight itself. I don't remember it because the adrenaline's pumping. But if I tell you, will you remember your fight? You're like, hell no. Like you're pumping. Adrenaline pumps too much that everything just
blur.
Yeah, everything's a blur.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you got punched in the face where like you don't remember nothing.
Yeah.
No, you legit just everything's pumping so fast that you're just going through the motion.
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened with me, that everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yeah.
And I went 10 rounds and I lost by 1 round.
So
but it was a learning experience, man, because after that I kind of realized like
might have been the best thing, right?
It really was for me.
It's a blessing in disguise.
It really was for me, man, because
wake up call.
That's when I realized like, hey man, like I have to be serious with my career and I have to take it and it's a job. Like it's not no BS. It's not no I can just fight whenever, I can train whenever, I could do whatever. No, like it was a serious job, and that's after that, that's how I took it.
Yeah, it's just like anything in life too. Like no matter what you have, somebody can always come and take it from you. There's always somebody else that wants to steal that crown. And they're hungry too. Yeah. So you can't take them for granted. Yeah, that's what you're saying, dude.
For sure. Wow, man. Yeah, no, that's crazy, man. So you learn from that, and then obviously, the Inoue fight was the big fight, and we'll kind of get into that. But I want to talk about like leading up to the Inoue fight. You kind of went on a little bit of a tear. Like you were going through some pretty solid fighters, right? Yeah. You fought a guy, Brian Acosta, who was 20-0. Jesus Ramos Rubio, 22-2. Israel Rodriguez Picasso was 30-5, and he was like a highly touted Mexican fighter. His jaw was broken, right? From my understanding, in Florida, right? In Florida. And then Rafael Pedrosa in a showbox main event. He was 15-0. He was so these guys you were brought in as like, oh, you're gonna lose to these guys, but you went on a pretty big tear right before that Inoue fight, right? So If you want to, I mean, I know I lumped all them in together, but what do you remember about that stretch of your career? Because I think that to me, like after you lost, you kind of, like you said, refocused, regrouped, and it seemed like you started going on a tear with, again, the records I just mentioned, 20-0, 22-2, 30-5, 15-0. Bro, those are some, those are solid ass fighters and records, right? And so Showbox main event. And for those of you who don't know, Showbox is, that was like, hey, your Showbox main event. That was a big deal because your next step level, is going, right? Showbox, it's like Boxing After Dark, although back in the day, though, those were platforms for young fighters who didn't have it before. Tuesday Night Fights back in the day, where so Showbox main event against a guy that's 15-0,
basically like the G League and then NBA.
Good point. Good analogy. Exactly. So what do you remember about that stretch?
So I, to kind of go to like a personal time, was more like before I signed with my manager, Michael Miller. I didn't really have anything going on in my career. Like I was signed with some promoter and with some managers in Florida that, didn't really like, not that they didn't care about my career, but they were like,
didn't take it anywhere.
Yeah, they didn't really weren't doing anything. They were like, like,
which is a classic case, right? For fighters,
for a lot of
right?
fighters, right?
Yeah,
I'm not the only one that it's ever happened to, and I'm not going to be the last one. And so basically what happened was I didn't really have anything going on in my career, and then I got my release from my managers through like a little loophole that I was able to get my release, and then I signed with my manager now. And first thing I told the man was like, dude, I'll fight anybody. Like I don't care who it is as long as the money's right. And that's when the whole famous Lyft driver came about, because legit, man, like I'm not ashamed to say it, like when and then in 2022 I fought at the Alamo Dome here, and I made 17,000. Right, I was happy. Most I've ever made in my whole career. But obviously I had to pay.
You got to pay your trainers, your manager, promo. Sorry, what's? I'm not to interrupt you, but people hear those purses, right? And they say, "Oh my God, the purse is $1 million, $2 million, however much it is." How much do you pay out, right?
You pay about easy 30%.
Yeah.
Then you don't forget about Uncle Sam. You know what I mean? Like you're paying another 30% to Uncle Sam. So basically, what happened was I made like 13,000. I go home with 13,000. I get an apartment with me and my girlfriend, and we're living good.
You're like, hey, this is good. This is good life, bro. Good money. I made it, dog.
I live in downtown, right downtown.
I made it, bro.
I'm living right downtown, man, and I'm over here. Like I'm thinking I got money. So little by little, then I'm not really fighting. And I'm like, man, and I was still with my manager at the time. I'm like, I'm not really fighting. I'm like, what? Like, so my money from 13,000 went down to 7,000 and 6,000 and 5,000. By the time I know it, I'm like, I look at my bank account and I'm like, fuck, I only have $2,000 left. My rent was $1,356. I'll never forget that fucking number.
Hey, that number's ingrained in there, bro.
In my head. So I was like, damn, I only have $2,000 left. I told my girl, like, babe, like, we have our lease is another 6 months, and we only have like 13, like one more month, like a rent, like to our name. And I was like, man, fuck. So then I just ended up fucking, again, man, as a man, I think just as a person, really a man or a woman, like when shit gets tough, like you gotta do what you gotta do. And so I started working Lyft, man. And I started working Lyft, and I started like really grinding it, because I was like, man, like I gotta do what I gotta do. And that's where the whole story of Lyft came about, where they asked me if I had any jobs prior. This is how they got me. They got me good, because they were like,
this became a thing. This became a thing. But go ahead.
They asked me, they're like, hey, have you had it? Like, tell us some of your backstory and this and that. Like, have you ever had any jobs? Like, I've never had a job, but I work Lyft. And they're like, oh, you work Lyft? And then they se gancharon de eso. Like, they started going crazy with it. And but it's cool, because again, like I'm saying, like we're going back to the future, right? Like I said it in the interviews before. I'm like, dude, like I could have easily like sold drugs or done XYZ to make ends meet. But what did I do? I said, man, I'm gonna go make a rifle living.
Honest living.
Honest living.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go and I would go work. I have to go run in the morning. I'd go work for a little bit, come home, chill, go to the gym, go take a shower, go home, eat, and then go work again. And that was my schedule every day until I hooked up with my manager now. My manager, and I give him his flowers, man. And she changed my life, bro, because So going back to what you asked me, I had told him, man, I'll fight anybody. And then he was like, okay. So we were gonna fight a guy who was like 18-0. I had fought him in the amateurs prior, and what happened was he pulled out the fight. We were gonna fight in California. That's when I fought Rodrigo Guerrero here in San Antonio in May. So then the fight gets presented to us versus Pedrosa. He gets presented to us, and 15-0 guy versus and this and that. Ranked number 4 in the world by WBA. Like, they were really trying. They were
pushing him to be the next
big Panamanian star, right? And then, so I go out there and I was like, man, I'll fight him, like no problem. And this is where I get paid 15,000. So I'm like, oh shit! Like, my manager was helping me with rent. I told him, look, I'm not asking you for rent money for like for me to go buy a diamond chain or like if you see me now, like I don't have like any of that stuff. I'm very laid back, right? So I do have one little pendant that I like, you know, I made myself. But other than that, man, you know, I'm very like
low key.
Low key humble.
Yeah, so I told him I'm not asking you for money for
so I can go be spending it
like go to Gucci or go to Louis Vuitton and go buy something that I can't afford. You know what I mean?
Right. Live outside your
means. So I told him I'm just asking you for money for rent. And basically what happened was that fight got presented to us. I knocked him out in the second round. I got paid 15,000. And then the Pedrosa fight got presented to us. And that, I mean, not the Pedrosa, the Picasso fight. And that was a good fight because
you see it.
It was another test.
He was also highly taught in Mexico, right? They were all, 30-5, but they were saying, hey, this dude's.
They were already planning to match him up with Inoue.
Right.
They were already talking about Inoue. And they were already talking about, oh, he's going to fight Inoue. And then
that fight was in Florida, right?
I was in Florida. I break his jaw in the 6th round. And I break it bad. And he hasn't fought since. He hasn't fought since.
Wow.
And so then I'm like, okay. And I told my manager, bro, I told you I'll fight anybody, don't matter who. And then they offered me another guy, 22-2, you said, but Rubio.
Yeah, Rubio.
And I knocked him out in the 9th. And then and again, the same injury I told you about came back. And so then I ended up knocking him out in the 9th. And then the fight with Acosta, 20-0 guy here. I told my manager, man, I'll fight anybody. It doesn't matter who. And so when the Inoue fight presented itself, I was like, I told you I'll fight anybody. And like, hell yeah.
That Inoue fight was very interesting, man. Because Inoue, we've been watching him. We're a fan of Inoue, man. We've been watching his fights, sometimes waking up real early in the morning just to watch him fight, and then seeing you in the ring is kind of like a surreal, experience, I bet, for you. But for us too, as fans are watching, we're like, man, look at this, man. San Antonio's owning the ring against Inoue. Like, hell yeah, dude. We're rooting for you, man. Then it's like,
I think they even put it on there. Former lift driver,
bro. They ran with that
on the stats, bro. It was like the whole stat thing. They show you. They put it in there.
They legit ran with that, man. But and again,
you know what? But I like how you and I think you put out there. Hey, how about the lift driver now? Like I like, because look, people are always going to hate on you no matter what you do, no matter what we do. You flip it to you. Now, to me, that's like a badge of honor. Like, I was a lift driver and I fucking was in there with Inoue. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Yeah. How did that fight get presented to you? How did that
bro, basically after
that's a big deal.
Yeah, after the Acosta fight, legit 1 week after the Acosta fight, I went to a vacation. I went, and I wasn't thinking about fighting. Like, I already thought Inoue had his
lined up, everything lined up
already. And what happened was I got a call from a manager, and he also manages a guy from here. And basically, we're talking about everything else but myself. Then all of a sudden, he just like nonchalant just asked me, hey, would you like to fight Inoue? I said, yeah, like, of course. I already told you that's a fight that I want. He said, okay, well, what about May 4th? And I said, what? I thought because if you meet my manager, man, he's very he's very professional. He's a lawyer, so he's very freaking professional. The guy is very very professional, and so he'll ask you like, He'll ask you just the most nonchalant,
just like nothing, like it ain't shit. Like just
yeah.
Just like what about
yeah.
$1 million? You know, like it ain't nothing. Like
And he'll ask you like nonchalant stuff, man. Like he'll ask you a very important stuff.
Yeah. Like it ain't,
right?
like it's a no big deal, bro.
And I'm like, okay. And he's like, May 4th. I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right. So he's like, okay, well, don't say nothing yet, but you know, the fight got presented to us, and we're gonna do. He's like, we're gonna take it basically. I said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, okay, like hell yeah. And then sure enough, man, like I get that call on a Friday.
Damn.
And I call my friend Ronnie, and then I told him, my trainer Ryan, I told
Yeah.
him, hey bro, we got the Inoue fight.
Ronnie Cantu, right?
Yeah, Ronnie
Yep.
Cantu. We got that fight presented to us. And he was getting a haircut. And then I hang up and I go eat. I go to Wingstop and I was like, man, bro, like this fight's really gonna happen. And sure enough, my manager calls me back that Saturday. He's like, okay, it's happening. And I'm like, okay, damn. I get back to San Antonio on Sunday. I pack all Monday. I see my manager that Monday. I'm back in Coachella Valley on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that's how fast, legit. Like I got to San Antonio. I got to Coachella because I was in LA.
You train in Coachella, right? With Joe Diaz,
yes.
right? So
yeah. And I got to LA. I went to LA the week after my fight. Just like I just went to hang out.
Yeah.
And then I got right back to Coachella Valley that Tuesday, man.
Yeah.
Like legit. Friday, the fight was presented. Saturday, the fight was locked in. Sunday, I was back in San Antonio. Monday, I saw my manager. Tuesday, I was back in training.
Wow.
Damn.
Like a week after my fight, bro.
Yeah.
So everything happened so fast.
Right.
And it was cool. Like
you don't turn down Inoue, right?
No,
you don't. You know what I mean, right? You don't turn down
did.
Inoue. Well, no. Well, I mean, some people probably, but I'm just saying. Wait, but you ain't, you ain't,
But it was
you
like
real motherfucker ain't turning it down.
Yeah, it goes
what I'm
back to
trying
like
say.
he's saying, anyway, that's a big deal. Like you're gonna be in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right. Watching that fight. That's a
Right.
big
Well,
fight.
and I think it even propelled you in Japan, right? From my understanding,
I'm legit
they
a
love you in
celebrity, bro.
Japan,
I'm legit
right?
a celebrity.
Thank
in
you, my
Japan.
love.
Like
Yeah,
it's
no,
crazy,
I know you're like big time in Japan.
Wow.
Like I post, like I'll post pictures. Like it's funny because even my girlfriend, she's getting some hype too. Because somebody had sent me an article, man, and then it was somebody from Japan sent me an article, and it said something about Cardenas' girlfriend looks like a Disney princess, and I sent it to my girl, and she's over here like getting hyped up. She's over here like, you see,
Yeah. Like, hey, let's move to Japan.
Yeah, and sure enough, man, like she's getting that like it's just crazy.
Notoriety.
Notoriety.
Like, yeah.
That's good.
I'm legit.
No, I saw
in
you
Japan,
were
bro.
like
It's
pretty
crazy.
big time in Japan,
Yeah,
and
it's
again,
crazy.
fighting a guy like Inoue, who's a god in Japan, and you being toe to toe with him, bro, like that's pretty awesome.
That's good
and
for the international audience,
and for the lower weight fighters, right? You fight at 120, 30, 122, right? That range, I'm saying, like, there's a lot of international fighters at those lower weights, right? That's one thing I always talk about when it comes to boxing. Like, Americans love their heavyweights, we love our middleweights and all that. I always say if Bam weighed 147 or 160, he'd be Canelo. He wouldn't be able to be walking around the streets. We see Bam at HEB. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like right, babe? We see Bam at HEB, like just walking around. Yeah, like literally, right? And it's great because Bam is so down to earth. He's so low key. I'm just saying, if he were 147, 165 pounder, he probably would get mobbed. Like he couldn't go in. It is what it is. In America, people like the higher weights. It is. But you got guys like, I love like Michael Carbajal, right? I love guys like that, right? Young, Americans that were small, that just, they went overseas, they did what they had to do, they fought everybody, because you have to at those weights, right? So. But it's funny because our American fighters are stars in those other countries. You know what I mean? Because the Thailand, Japan, they love their smaller weight guys because they have a lot those weight fighters.
The Muay Thai fighting, especially in Thailand.
Right. So I think that's pretty cool that in Japan you're like a star.
Bro, it's
We got to send this out to Japan, man. We got to.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, we got our boy Taro.
Taro,
we have a big Spurs fan. His name is Taro, and he lives in Japan.
Taro Katani.
I think I've seen him.
Okay, yeah, he's
always
with
around,
Keldon
right?
and Keon and all
Ronnie,
that. Yeah, Taro, right? He's a big Spurs fan. He's from Japan. we're gonna send this to him. We're
that'd
gonna
be
put,
cool.
we'll
Send
put it
it
out
to
there
him,
because
then. I'll
he's,
send it to
yeah,
him.
yeah, he does a lot of stuff over there. But
He used to be a translator for
Yeah.
the NBA way back in
Yeah.
the day.
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, he's very fluent in
Yeah.
English, and of course,
And
he's fluent Japanese.
nice.
He's cool, man. When he
I
comes,
think
he
I think I've
comes.
seen him. I think
yeah,
I've seen
He's
yeah,
gonna
he
be-
runs in the circles.
He's
with-
gonna be
with
going to the Barclays Center for the NBA draft.
the NBA
He'll
draft.
be out there,
Yep,
bro.
he usually
Yeah.
gets out there.
Yeah.
I might see him too in the summer league because I'm gonna go out to the. We're gonna go to the summer league in Vegas. So
Hey, we
we'll
have a
here.
question that
So,
there's somebody wanted to
Okay.
ask him
what do we
because
got?
they were talking about anyway. Mario
Yeah.
Cavazos was saying, did Keldon Johnson give you any words of encouragement before going up against anyway?
I mean, he kind of, we always kind of just talk about like just stuff because with Keldon, man, I mean, him being at the level of basketball that he's in, like it's just one of those things where like, I look up. It's funny, he's younger than me, but I look up to him literally.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, right.
and,
Literally and
spirit
figuratively.
and
Yeah.
figuratively, like where, I'm trying to be where he's at. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And just having him there, he don't have to say nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just being there,
Just being there,
Yeah,
and being
yeah.
his presence there
Yeah.
is like really.
Yeah.
It felt really good.
Yeah.
Him and Dev,
Yeah.
like just having them there was really just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
like hell
It's
yeah.
pretty
I
badass.
got
Yeah,
people
you-
behind me
yeah,
that
yeah.
like
Yeah.
that I want to be at, like the level I
Right.
want to be at, and
Yeah.
it felt good.
Sure. Well, and
Yeah.
thank you, Mark Cavazos, for that question because that is a good segue into one of the things I did want to talk about because here on this show we talk about Spurs a lot, right? We love our Spurs. We're ready for draft night. We don't know what's going to happen with KD. And I think it's really cool because I've seen Keldon, especially in the corner of other local fighters here in San Antonio, and again in the Inoue fight when they pan into his locker room, you see Keldon, you see Devin there and all that. How did that relationship get started? How did you get started hooking up with those first players and all that? Because I think that's an interesting story.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of crazy. So basically, I've known Ronnie. Ronnie is a kind of like the connector.
Yeah.
Of the. Well, I've known Ronnie since since I can remember, right? Like since I kind of started boxing, we kind of grew up together in the boxing. And Ronnie already knew them because he used to work with Justin James Laha. Justin James kind of trains the Spurs players.
Yeah.
And I ended up meeting Keldon because I had a sponsor of mine at the time that used to sponsor kind of Keldon's events. And Keldon had a kickoff for like every year he has a thing at the Top Golf.
Yeah.
For,
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
top
every
golf
year.
thing. Yep.
Yeah.
So I went to that one in 2023 and I had met him there. I saw him. I was like, hey, bro, like, and he came up to me, I was at your fight. And then after that, we took some pictures together.
Yeah.
After that, we became cool.
Yeah.
So that's how I met him. But with Dev, one day, I'm in the gym and I had just got finished at the gym. And my boy Ronnie was like, hey, bro, Dev's going to come. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I didn't know him. So I was like, cool.
Yeah.
And when he walks in with a lot of other people. So Ronnie was like, hey, bro, you mind if you help me train them? Because, like, it's only one Ronnie and 6 other people. So, Dev and his other friend and his other friend.
They all want to work out.
They all
Hit
want to
the
work
mitts
out,
and
hit the
stuff.
mitts and stuff.
Yeah.
And like you, right? Like, you used to box. So you know how to hold mitts naturally.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. You
walking
could just,
into a
yeah,
gym.
yeah.
You know
exactly.
how to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I told Ronnie, like, yeah, I'll help you train him. So little by little, man, like I started training Dev and helping Ronnie with training them. And then they were coming more and more and more. And so then me and Devin kind of got cool as well. And actually one of Dev's best friends made my shorts. He's a good friend of mine now. And he made my shorts for my fight.
Yeah.
And he's a big designer, a big designer guy. Shout out my boy Jack.
Yeah.
He designed my shorts. And I told him, look, bro, like, I don't want to worry about designing my shorts or designing nothing. I just want this, and this.
Yeah.
And I want the color of the Spurs and the shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So that's basically how it happened, man, where, I met them two. And then I met Malachi as well. Brandon,
Yeah.
I know Malachi is a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Through Ronnie as well.
Yeah.
And actually Malachi, we hooked him up with my videographer.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice, dude.
So we all just, I'm sure like everybody else sees them as like, like Spurs players.
Larger than life.
Yeah, but
like,
me, they're my friends.
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
just
like
cool
I
dudes,
see
right?
them as.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
messaging
and
Deb the other day.
It's like you talked about like Keldon being how young they are. You forget how young some of these guys are.
Yeah,
You know what
man,
I mean?
yeah.
Right. We see them as players, and we're like, oh my god, dude, they're 20 years old, 22,
Yeah.
21.
Like
you know,
Dev and
they're-
Keldon are no
Yeah.
more than I know.
Yeah.
They're no more than 25 years old.
yeah,
Bro.
yeah.
Like they're young.
Mhm.
But for me to look up to them and for
Sure.
me to have them behind,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
in
and
my
again, like you
corner,
said,
man.
you respect the level that they've achieved,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
because whatever your profession is, whether it's NBA, whether it's a boxer, whether it's a cyber guy, whether it's a doctor, lawyer, whatever your profession is, you want to achieve the very best, right?
Yeah.
And when a guy like that is at the level that they are, they have something that you're like,
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
bro,
yeah.
like steel sharp as steel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You want
yeah.
to surround yourself around successful people, right? So
I even heard when, because we're talking with like Jesse James Leha this last time, and we even heard Wemby going into the gym, dude, and throwing hands. Like it's something they do to keep in shape.
Yeah.
You know.
And the thing about Kel, like he loves boxing, bro. Like he knows.
Yeah.
He'll randomly call us, right? Like we'll be in camp and he'll call us and he'll be like, "Hey, do you think like let's say a random fight, like a fight that's coming up, how you think they're gonna do?" And I'm like,
that's really cool.
And then
I
I'm
love
like,
to hear
oh,
that. I
like,
love that insight. I
I'm just
love
like,
that.
I'm just like I'll give him my
opinion,
Insight.
opinion.
whatever,
He's like, I'm thinking the same. And I'm like, okay. Like,
he wants to see
Yeah,
if he's on there.
yeah.
He wants a sanity
and
check.
then there's been times where I'll call him and I'll be like, like there'll be a fight.
Yeah.
And me and Ronnie will call him and like during the fight we'll call him.
Yeah.
And we'll be like, yo, what do you think? He's like, bro, he's getting fucked up. Or like whatever he thinks.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that we kind of like bond on because he really enjoys boxing.
That's
Like,
awesome.
Yeah, that's just like
he
me and you,
enjoys
dude.
it.
Yeah.
When the big fights, and me and
Yeah,
Rick are texting back and
yeah,
forth. Hey
yeah.
man, what do you
What do you
think?
think?
What do you
of this?
think?
Yeah. Even the small. Hey, I was up watching Brian Norman on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
I was up, bro.
Yeah,
I woke
knocked
up,
out.
watched that
Early,
Thursday,
man.
hey, bro. And I was in Cali, so it was 4:00 my time.
Yeah.
So and he looked great. He looked amazing, right? Because they were in Tokyo. But that's awesome, man. I'm glad you shared that insight because that's really cool to hear that Keldon.
Yeah.
Because some stars or players they might come out there just to be like, well, I want to be seen here. You know what I mean? Like like you see, celebrities at NBA games or even at fights, and they don't know about boxing, bro. They just it's
They're
the
showing
clout
up.
of the it's just like, hey, I'm here with it. I'm just because I want to show that I'm here. But Keldon obviously is not that. He really is into it, right? Like you said. So I like that. I think that's really cool.
And
Devin.
Dev's the same, man. He actually likes boxing. Like he likes to train. He likes to actually like go and he'll go into the gym and he'll hit the mitts, he'll hit the bag.
That's really cool.
He'll be exhausted, but he's there.
And that's a good workout for them though.
And it's a like I said, it's a good workout. Like you said, it's a good workout, but these guys actually enjoy watching it. And they actually like doing it. So to have them, like I said, to be in my corner and stuff, like it's really it's like one of those motivational things where
bro.
I'm like, damn, this guy is a Spurs player.
He's here
like
for me.
sometimes I
He's
forget.
Yeah.
Hey, we got some super chats we
Yeah,
got
let's
to
hit 'em,
address
let's
here,
hit 'em.
man. So we're gonna go start with Drew's show here.
Money talks.
All right, thank you, Drew, for the $5 super chat. We appreciate it. He goes, does Keldon or any of the Spurs have hands? What about hands? Hands or just hair? Do you have them in the Malice in the Palace situation? In your corner.
He's asking, do they have hands? Any of them?
No, bro. Bro. Like Keldon, he can fight. Like there's again, you see them and you don't think like anything, but they can fight. Like Keldon has a good I would like working mitts with him and stuff. Like Keldon and Deb, they both have good right hands. Like their right hands like good really
power.
Their power.
Yeah.
And but Keldon, since he practices it just a tad bit more, he actually knows how to run combinations off and he understands a little bit more.
Yeah.
So but they can fight, bro. Like and they're big, man.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
they're big guys, bro.
Yeah,
so.
man, at that size to be as athletic as they are, that's something, man.
Yeah, he can fight that. Like, he's always just like telling people, like, man, he's like, I joke with them.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, fucking fight heavyweight, bro. Like, one fight, just do it. He's like, bro, I will, bro. I'll fuck people up.
We gotta get him on a Jake Paul card.
Yeah,
bro.
I like Keldon because he's a little bit country, man. He likes doing a lot of stuff outdoors,
He loves San Antonio, man.
Yeah.
He loves just the country because he's originally from a little country town in Virginia.
Yeah.
Man. he's not from
Big
LA
city.
or
New
from
York.
from like a big city.
Yeah,
He's from a little small town in Virginia, and it's one of those things where him coming to San
He feels at
Antonio
home.
feels at home because you get the best of both worlds. You get the big city,
Yep.
Yeah.
And
then you get
you're not far away from
outside the country.
Yeah.
Where he lives. I'm not gonna say where he lives.
Yeah. Where does he live?
Don't.
But where he lives, man, like he has the best of both worlds.
Sure.
Where,
He's away enough, but close enough, but away. Yeah.
So
That's good.
It's for him. It's perfect balance.
That's awesome.
I mean?
Yeah.
We also got another incoming super chat here.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
And this one's from Tony Hernandez. Thanks again, Tony. Appreciate you,
Yep.
man. He says, "What songs pump you up before you're
a
about to fight, dude?"
Which is a good question because Joe does like talk about playlists, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna thank you, Tony Hernandez, for that. But you can answer the question, what song pumps you up? But after that, we're gonna piggyback and ask you about playlists. But go ahead.
I mean, like before a fight. So I have a little like a ritual that I do.
Yeah.
Is there's like certain music from the Gladiators. It's like my favorite movie of all time, man. Like there's like some songs like that I listen to like from the Gladiator movie. So I'll listen to those like before I fight because it's just one of those things, man, where I've got it. I've done it for
It's just
like
a constant.
yeah,
ritual.
it's a constant
You feel
ritual.
comfortable,
going.
right? Yeah.
And I listen to some like music. The first song is called Elysium, and then the second one is called forgot the second one. I forgot the second one, but it's like three songs like that are separate songs, but they go together like right back to back.
Gotcha, man.
And it's Elysium, something else, and Now We Are Free. So I listen to those three songs. Constantly listen to those songs, and then I'll listen to like it really depends. Like I'm like a big like Olivia Rodrigo fan. I love Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh my god.
There you go.
I love her. Like her music's just really cool.
And she's Latina.
I mean, it's just for me. It's just music more than anything.
Yeah.
Because I think music is there's no
Transcends
no right or
everything.
wrong, man.
it
Yeah, like
transcends
music is just
Yeah,
music.
What
Like
about the Game of Thrones, man? The
like,
song,
oh,
the
you love
intro
Game of
song,
Thrones,
dude.
right?
Well, like I
Yeah.
love Game of Thrones, but like even Game of Thrones, like there's a song that I listen to, the Long Night.
Yeah.
That's what they call it, the Long Night. It's just a song.
Yeah.
I listen to that. Like it's just different little
Yeah.
things, man. Like that I love, like just to kind of get into the zone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
you just
yeah.
focus
I
up.
gotta
on
ask you a question though, man. You like Game of Thrones? You in the House of the Dragon, bro? Because I
Bro,
watched that
love
too,
House of the
man.
Dragon, bro. I love it. I'm
I
waiting
watched
for
that
season
too.
3 already.
Yeah,
waiting for
man. That
season
last
3.
season was a slow burn, dude. Like it got off slow, but then it ended pretty good. But the one thing with like Game of Thrones, I liked watching everything, like the whole series, but that ending, bro.
The ending was terrible.
Damn.
At first, I was kind of like, oh, it's not that bad, like this. It's not that bad. But then I rewatched it again, and I was like, it's still not that bad. We watched it again. I watched the whole Game of Thrones like 5 times, bro, like 5-6 times, and they're hour episodes, 8 episodes, 8 seasons, like.
And so they did my boy Snow dirty, bro.
And then, yeah, like by the time you know it, man, by the 5th time, I was like, yeah, actually, season 8 kind of sucked.
Yeah,
like, I didn't
bro.
like it, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, because me and my boys, we always talk about it because we like into that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And we watch like House of the Dragon and the Game of Thrones. And some of our friends that are just like starting to get into it, hey man, should I watch House of the Dragon right away? It's like maybe you should watch the Game of Thrones first, because then you're gonna get confused. You're not gonna know what's going on.
Understand.
Yeah. So it's like a big old thing, dude. Like you get into it, you get into
what
it.
I don't like about us as the fans,
Yeah.
sometimes, is that they want every episode to be like nonstop, like somebody died. It's like, bro, relax. Like, there has to be some
the build up, bro.
build-up,
Yeah.
like, So I think season 2 was a big build up.
Yeah.
Now season 3 and 4 are gonna be. I wouldn't even be surprised that season 3 is like still
Another
another build up for season 4.
Yeah.
Because there's only gonna be 4 seasons, I believe, 3
Yeah.
or 4. So it's one of those things where
Yeah.
everybody wants everything like
all
like,
of all,
a lot of
like,
these people, man, they've read their books, right? So
Yeah.
they know what's happening, and they want to
That's
they
why I
want to
don't
see
read,
it,
bro.
They want to see it right away. They want to see it right away, So it's like y'all got to slow down a little bit.
Reading
man.
is overrated.
Yeah,
bro.
reading's overrated. That's what I'm
Reading's
reading.
overrated, bro. You know what? Speaking of, go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say we got another incoming super chat here.
Okay.
Money talk.
Here comes the money.
So this one is from Tex-Mex Frank. Appreciate
Right.
you, man. Always supporting the show, dude.
I love
He
you
says,
guys.
bravo. He goes, bravo for today's show. Happy Friday grito. So he wants to play the grito.
Here we go. You paid for it. You get
You
it.
get it,
Yeah.
man. On this one, we're going to go ahead and give some love to Leja también from MCS General Contracting.
Powers the chat.
We have two gritos. So this one's
Yeah.
from our boy Leja. I used the AI to put his face on the guy from the Three Amigos. But then
¡Viva México, cabrones!
I like that one because it reminds me everybody has a Theo that almost looks like that dude, you know? So we got to put it in there, man. And we have one more super chat too that was coming in. And this one's from the Drew Show. Thank you, Drew.
Money
Appreciate you.
talk.
Here comes the
He
money.
says, bottom line, Keldon or Draymond in an NBA fight, bro. I got Keldon, man.
Yeah.
Draymond's a dirty fighter, bro. They're gonna deduct points from him, man.
I think Draymond is one of those like fake tough guys.
You're right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. I agree.
He,
Yeah.
he-
He wants hold me back.
Yeah.
Hold me back. Hold me back.
and then
you
nobody's
know?
holding him back.
No,
He's
yeah,
still,
yeah,
hold me back.
exactly.
Like, oh. Yeah,
Exactly.
I think he's one of those
Exactly.
fake
Good
tough
morning,
guys.
Alex.
Brock Lesnar just using his weight in MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I think Draymond's a guy that would like just hold you and try to wait. Right? Yeah. That's what you're saying, babe. Yeah. Exactly. No, Keldon would just step back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Use those combos. You know
Uh-huh.
that he taught him. So that's awesome, man. We're gonna wrap the show up, right, Joe? We're coming to an end.
Yeah,
Or-
we're coming to an end, but
Coming
we're gonna
in.
go ahead and give some love here to some of our sponsors of the
Yeah,
show.
absolutely.
We're gonna give some love to MCS General Contracting first. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leja over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show. All right. Thank you, MCS General Contracting. They powered the chat, you know,
Talk
so
about it right now.
we want to go ahead and give them some love. And if you need anything done as far as for your business, you need a landing on your backyard, you need a pickleball court, basketball court, or even a pool for your business or your residency, or even for your Sancha. You could go
the side house, the Sancha house.
the site Sancha. You could go ahead and call them at 210-774-9155. You know what's funny? I was thinking about that. I think it was you or somebody else had put something up there on the social media, and they had a Sancha day. Remember
Oh
that?
yeah. It said there was a thing. It said in
It's
like
Sancha in
Fullerton,
California.
California, that they were offering a Sancha Day or something. It was like the Saturday before
Yeah.
Father's Day, and it was like
They said-
enjoy your Sancha.
so dads
because
can enjoy the
you're
day
gonna
with
be
the
you're gonna be
Sancha.
bogged down the next day with your family, something like that. It was funny. It
No,
was funny.
bro, that one had me
It was
dying,
funny.
man. They say
Well,
kick your Sancha out.
what I say when it comes to Sanchas, because you're a Cowboys fan, right?
Yeah.
And you're a Astros fan. You got a Houston hat, or you just rock it?
And I try to stay like I don't really
Do
care
baseball?
too much about baseball.
I'm
like that.
I'm similar. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah,
the bees over there. No, I'm not
Yeah.
really like too
Big-
much of a baseball
yeah,
fan.
yeah,
I like it, kinda.
yeah, but
No,
not like hardcore.
Yeah, But I try
Yeah.
to stay local to
Sure, sure.
Texas, so
Sure,
I
sure.
either had to choose the Rangers or the Astros.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I
No, so what we talk about on the show is like we're like most of us are Cowboys fans. But when they suck or they're pissing us off, they talk about Sancha teams. So they say like my Sancha team is like Houston or
Yeah.
the Saints or whoever. and I don't believe in Sancha teams. I rock with my team,
Yeah.
whether they piss me off or not.
Yeah.
But what I tell these guys is, hey, be a real man and have a real Sancha instead of a Sancha team.
Yeah.
Is that how do you
She-
know? How do
she
you know
always
they
gives
don't
me the
really have
look.
one?
She gives me the look when I say that. She
Yeah.
gives me the look when I say
I
that.
like the Cowboys, the Astros.
Yeah.
Any
Texas. You're repping
team,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
I respect that.
I like Cowboys, like we're saying. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's hard to
Yeah.
like
It's hard to be a
it's
Cowboys
hard
fan,
to be
yeah.
a Cowboys fan.
You gotta
Yeah,
believe,
yeah,
man. I got
yeah.
a brand new hat I just picked up. The kids got it for me for
Yeah.
Father's Day. I was out because of last year, but they pulled me back in, man. You know how they do it, dude.
Yeah,
I think
don't
we
leave,
have to,
bro.
we have to believe within reason.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
That's a good way to put it.
I
Within
hate
reason.
I
Yeah,
hate those Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
And even me, I can't stand them, bro. Like, oh, we won the first game of the season and they're already
And
talking,
talking about
Super
Super
Bowl
Bowl
bound.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, bro,
yeah.
chill.
Relax,
Because
bro. Yeah,
every year we,
yeah.
as Cowboys fans,
Vamos
y'all
pa la
say the
Super Bowl.
same thing. And every year, people are always talking smack because they,
Yeah.
oh, look, y'all said it again. And
Yeah,
look what
yeah,
happened
yeah,
to y'all
exactly.
guys. Suck.
You know what the
Yeah,
Cowboys are, man? And I put it like this: the Cowboys are that ex-girlfriend, man. You got rid of her because she's no damn good, dude. But you know what? You see her out in public and she's looking cute, man, in that little black dress, and you're
You
like,
want her back?
damn, bro.
What could have been? What could have been? Oh man. You know what, man? We've gone for a good, hour and 30 minutes. It doesn't even seem like it because we've had
Nah,
good
it's been
conversation.
good.
We've
Yeah.
had good things going. I actually like that we didn't even talk that much about the Inoue fight because my point of all of this is Ramon Cardenas, yes, got a lot of notoriety from the Inoue fight, but he's much more than the Inoue fight.
Yeah.
And we had Danny De La Paz on here, who was a puppet on American Me. I don't know if you're familiar with the movies, but
I remember that one. Don't look
yeah,
at me, little puppet. Or something
What's
like
that?
right? That one little thing. I was like, don't look at me.
Yeah,
little
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
look at me, little puppet.
Yeah, hold on,
I
yeah.
never seen
Yeah.
that movie
Really?
like that, honestly.
Wow,
But
okay,
I
okay.
remember that little
Yeah.
part. 'cause-
Okay, yeah. Don't look when he like kills his little brother. Don't look at me. Yeah.
Yes.
So the actor Danny De La Paz is a good friend of mine, good friend of ours. We had him on the show, and he's really known from American Me. Everybody remembers that part about "Don't look at me, little puppet." Like, actually, that's a good point. Everybody remembers that. But I was trying to articulate like he's much more than that. Like
Yeah.
this guy has done movies in the 70s and he's done silent movies and he's done theatrical plays. So point of the point, and this is what we'll close with, is a lot of us are known for whatever we're known for. You're known for the Inoue fight. I'm known for being a Marine. Steph's known for being gorgeous. Joe's known for just being Joe.
She's a mimosa, the man.
But
fairy here, dude.
But everybody out there, and you're known for what you're known for, but that's not all who you are. You know what I mean? Like that's the point I'm trying to. That's one thing I think we do really well at this podcast is we bring people on and we talk about. We've had Bill Goldberg on here. We've had Frank Harris, UTSA quarterback. So we've been blessed.
Mike
to have
Mitchell's
a couple
son,
of,
the great Mike Mitchell from the Spurs.
Mike Mitchell. Yeah. So we've been pretty just James Leja. So we've been pretty lucky for us to be a small podcast, a little tiny little podcast. We ain't big time, but we've had some pretty loyal people who come out here.
Our listeners, man.
And the point is like you're more than what people try to label you as. You know what I mean? And I think that's a good message, right? You're more than what you're labeled as because we're not just one dimensional. We're more than what somebody wants to point us at. And for you, it's like, oh, Inoue fight, bro. You were you before the Inoue fight, and you're gonna be you after the Inoue fight, So even though the Inoue fight was big and it's a big deal and it's a big thing in your life, and I have the Ring magazine here, right? Like the new Ring magazine, and you flip a couple of pages and you already got, you got Ramon and Inoue on here, right? Which is a big deal, which is pretty awesome, pretty badass. I mean, to grace these pages is pretty badass, and it's a big deal. But you're more than that, and you're more than that. And I think you talking about your contributions to the community and what you do for young folks and all that does speak volumes of who you are as a person, who you are as a man. So, again, we appreciate you coming on, brother. I know you're busy. I know you have training. You got a lot going on. On the way out,
I got a gift for him too before he leaves. Got you something real special, dude.
On the way out, what's next for Ramon Cardenas?
I mean, right now, we got a lot of plans. You know what I mean? They want me to fight in Japan because, obviously,
you are in Japan.
Yeah, man. It's because I fought their best fighter. Bro.
That's not a bad idea.
And then I actually went toe to toe with the guy. Nobody expected me to last as long as I did.
Yeah.
And
you dropped him.
Yeah,
you dropped Inoue in the second round. You dropped him.
And I tell people this: the difference between me and Eddie, the knockdowns. If you really pay attention to them, with Nettie, he got up relatively fast.
Yeah,
he was already.
He bounced back up.
He bounced back up on the knee.
Yeah, I remember that.
And with me, he was like,
he took his time. He took his time getting up. Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah, he took a knee. He took the 8 count.
Hey,
Nettie,
that's smart though, man. That's what I want more fighters to do. You get knocked down, you have all the way up till that 10 count or the 8 count.
That's smart to take the knee, but
no, for sure.
Yeah.
But as a fighter's perspective, man, it's completely
it shows
different.
you what.
Because when you get knocked down as a fighter, your first reaction is get up,
back up.
Like your first reaction is not, oh, let me take my time and let me think about let me regroup myself. No,
No.
your first reaction is to get up. And any sport, really, if you get
Yeah.
knocked down in basketball and
Yeah.
and soccer, your first reaction is
Get your ass up, bro. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Because you're
Yeah.
so competitive.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
of
the
course.
same with
Sure.
boxing. Like
Yeah.
you get knocked down.
Even more,
and-
I would think.
Yeah,
even
even
more.
more.
There's only one thing to do.
Yeah,
Just get the fuck up, right?
and
Yeah.
Your first reaction is to get up. So for him to do
Yeah.
that was kind of one of the.
No,
like
I
you said,
remember
it was
the
one of
Neri
those
fight.
things.
He
Yeah, he
sprung
bounced-
back
yeah,
up,
he
bro.
sprung
Like
right
yeah. Yours was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Whoa,
hold on.
it's time.
Let
Yeah, he
me
took
let
his
me.
time.
He thought about it.
Yeah.
So that was the big difference, and I think that was pretty like one of those things.
It's
where
telling.
it's like,
It's
it was,
telling.
it was
Yeah.
No,
telling.
man, I was screaming and yelling at the TV. I was like, "Let's fucking go, bro!"
Yeah,
Like, let's
bro.
do it.
when I knocked them down, man, the whole stadium just
Crazy.
erupted, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it was- I could hear the whole T-Mobile arena just like
Yeah.
go crazy,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh damn, like, okay, like
I hyped you up.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of there's a lot of things like that go into like a fight, but the crowd really does like
Yeah.
And I understand how people used to be like, oh, you're fighting 3 fights. You're fighting the guy, you're fighting the refs, you're fighting the fans.
Yeah,
And I used to never understand that until the fans are very like, when you got your fans,
Yeah.
they're going against Sinoe's
Yeah,
fan or
yeah.
like whatever your other
Yeah.
fans.
The
And
vocal.
yes,
right?
he said,
The
on,
vo-
like
yeah,
little
yeah,
by
yeah,
little,
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah,
I would hear chants for Inoue,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I would
yeah,
hear Cardenas
Yeah,
or
yeah,
Mexico,
Yeah,
Mexico.
you're like,
And
Yeah.
it was like
bro,
it was a
yeah.
constant like
Yeah.
warfare between the
The chess
fighters,
match. The chess
the
match.
trainers, and then the fans. So that was
That's interesting.
a really like a cool experience to kind of
yeah.
go through. But I mean, it's been
Yeah.
it's been a fun ride, man.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's been good.
Yeah. Well, hey, we look forward to your next fight, wherever it is or whenever it is. If it's
Oh,
in
I didn't even
Japan,
answer that
if-
question, right?
no, it's all good. No, it's all good. But we whatever your next fight is, it might be in Japan, and we might have to wake up at 4 a.m. to watch it. And if we do, then so be it. I'll be up.
Yeah,
So-
like back to what you're saying, is they want me in Japan, man. Then they want me. Right now, I'm very in high demand.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
there's only one me.
Yeah.
But,
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good time to have. But right now, I'm just trying to take some time off. I fought 2 fights back to back in February
Yeah.
and May.
That's big.
And
yeah.
as a fighter,
Yeah.
like
yeah, you need your rest.
it's
bro.
like
Yeah, you need to recuperate. Your
to
body
do
needs to
2
recuperate.
fights relatively fast like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
It's
that's unheard of.
It's kind of hard,
especially
man.
nowadays.
Mhm,
It's unheard
It's kind
of.
of
Yeah.
hard. So my
Yeah,
manager, my promoter, they said, look, go home, take some time off,
Yeah.
go to vacation.
Yeah.
I actually leave to vacation next week on this
Good.
day.
Good.
I
Hey,
go to Japan.
Where you going?
congratulations, bro.
Japan?
Tokyo.
Nice. Tokyo.
Nice.
And then I'm gonna go do vacation, and I'm gonna get back, and then
You and
really
your
just-
girl are gonna go out
Yeah,
to Tokyo.
I'm
Nice.
actually taking me, my girl, my dad, and his wife.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
we're gonna go
Nice.
meet up a friend
That'll
that
be a good time.
he's based over there in
Yeah.
military.
Oh, okay. Cool.
He's in Japan right
Yeah.
now, and I haven't seen him in 10 years, man.
Oh, wow.
So I'm gonna see
Nice.
him. And
That's gonna be well.
he was a real
well
good friend of
rested.
mine since
Yeah.
high school.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go see him, and it's gonna be, like I said, like right now I'm just trying to enjoy just the time off that I'm having,
Yeah,
because
you got to, man.
it's been
You have to. It's been a lot, man.
It's been a lot
been a
these
lot.
last
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
months.
It's been
and,
grueling.
and injuries. It's mainly the injuries.
Your body recover.
Yeah.
You need your body to
Because
recover. Yeah.
I'm 29. I'm not
Yeah.
19 anymore.
Yeah.
Where you get a little injured and you're like, oh, I'm good. Like,
Hey, in boxing years, 29 is a lot,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But it
You-
says you got a window, bro. Right? You got
Yeah.
a window from 29 to 32. That
it
30
depends. Now it's
nowadays.
changed.
Yeah.
Because now you have, you have more things to
Sure.
recuperate.
Yeah,
Before,
yeah.
the best thing you had was ice bath.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
Like that's
right.
the best
Sure.
thing you had was ice bath.
Yeah.
And half the fighters would never do them.
Yeah.
Now we
modern
have ice
science,
baths.
yeah,
We
the
have
technology,
cryotherapy.
yeah, yeah.
We have
Yeah, that's good.
the shot, the little
Oh, the cups
acupuncture,
and all that.
and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
cuppings,
Yeah.
and like I had a shout out my boy Augie, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if you, I'm sure you've had it,
Yeah.
where you get hit with the elbow on
Mhm.
your bicep.
Yeah.
So then your bicep goes into like a little ball mode.
Yeah.
And one time I had that happen to me, and my boy Augie, he works for the Incarnate Word. He's like the head director of like the athletic
Mhm,
people.
mhm.
Like,
yeah, leg department. Yeah.
and I had told him about my bicep, and he's like, "Oh, bro, just come on Monday or whatever, right?"
Yeah.
So he was like, "Does this hurt? Does this hurt?" I was like, "Kinda." He was pushing it. He's like, "All right." So he did a little massage, and it didn't go away. I was like, "It still feels like it hurts." He's like, "Okay, I got what you need." He got a needle, and he just stuck it like in my arm, and then he put like a little electric thing on it, on the
Oh,
needle.
okay.
Oh yeah.
And then it started like pulsating.
Pulsating. Yep.
Started sending waves to my bicep.
Yeah.
Sure enough, bro, next day I was fine.
Wow.
So that right there is already 100 to 1,000 times more than what the people
Pass
from
in the hat.
the past had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's why you're able to see Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Like going back to basketball terms,
Yeah.
37.
Yeah.
You're still able to see him hoop because, and look at LeBron, 40, 41.
Yeah, he does that cryo. That
Yeah.
He
cryo.
does crowd.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
He invested like I heard $1 million a year in his body.
Oh yeah.
You got to at that
Right?
level, right?
So that's why the players are able to go a little bit longer. So for me, right now, I feel very healthy. I still feel very young, and I'm able to keep going because I get injured. Call my boy Augie real quick, and hey man, like my ankle hurts, and all right, bro, we'll come. Let's say Monday. And we'll do something for my ankle. He'll do some scraping, and he'll do ice and heat, and by the time you know it, bro, I feel like brand new. So I think all goes well, man. God willing, I'm 34, 35 now.
Yeah.
Before I was like, I want to win 2 world titles and I'm gonna be done.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, okay, if I can keep going, why not?
Yeah.
But going good, not going and losing. And,
Yeah.
and no,
Being
I want to
opponent.
At a high level.
If I'm gonna go out,
Yeah.
when I go out, I'm gonna go out like at the top of my game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the sense
Yeah.
of
That's
like,
smart. Yeah.
like, hey man, like I went out how I wanted.
Yeah. On my
Yeah.
terms.
Not
On my
Father
terms.
Time
Yeah.
beating me.
Yeah.
Go out like David Robinson, a champion, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
know?
man. And just look at, for example, Andre Ward. Andre Ward.
Yeah.
Andre Ward
Absolutely.
retired in his
Yeah.
prime.
He,
man.
yeah. He was smart, bro.
But he's like,
He was
no,
smart.
I'm gonna retire when I feel
Yeah.
like
My body is still
Yeah,
healthy. My
exactly.
mind is still good. And that's a classic thing about boxers back, going too long. Even the
Mhm.
great Julio Cesar Chavez, man, my
Yeah,
idol,
man.
bro, my idol. I cringed when he lost to like Kasizu and
like
to guys that would never be able to carry his freaking
look
gym
at,
bag.
look at Sugar Ray Leonard,
yeah,
man. Sugar Ray
yeah,
Leonard,
yeah,
even Mike Tyson.
yeah,
man,
Tyson, a lot of the greats, man.
doing that shit that he's doing
Yeah,
now, like
yeah.
with Jake Paul, like
Yeah.
man, like for me, like I this is my personal opinion, right? Like I
Yeah.
think Mike Tyson's the greatest heavyweight ever. His prime, he only had a 4-year actual prime,
Yeah.
like before, like when he won the title,
Mhm.
and prior to that, that's when he was Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
he won the title and started
Yeah,
doing all the extracurricular activities that he was
He
doing,
started fading.
that's when he started fading fast.
Yep.
But prior
Yeah.
to that, man,
Yeah.
like there was nobody fucking.
Yeah.
He had somebody early on that was really in his corner, man.
Customato, man.
You know?
Customato, bro.
And as soon as he
Customato,
lost him,
yeah.
dude, that
And
was
all
like
his Mike Jacobs and all those different managers that he had.
and so-
Once they gone, bro, he went with Don King and all the different training teams.
don't
and
even
all
get me
that.
started with Don
Nah,
King,
bro.
bro.
So
dude.
that's the thing, man. Is like I want to go out on my own terms.
Yeah.
Whenever I feel like okay, I can feel like I can still do it, but that
Yeah.
right there tells me like
Not at the level that
at the level that I
yeah,
want.
yeah.
But if I say I'm still good, like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still can do it.
Sure.
That tells you different. But
Yeah.
if you tell me, hey, how many fights you got left? If I tell you, maybe like 10.
Yeah.
Right there, that tells you.
Yeah.
But if I tell you, nah, I got like 10, bro. Like,
yeah.
hell
Definite.
The
You're
different-
thinking about
yeah.
it. You're
different-
already questioning yourself.
the
right?
different
You're already-
energy,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
The different
yeah.
energy.
You're
of,
already
like,
doubting.
how-
You're already
exactly.
doubting. Yeah.
Yeah.
The different energy of how you like do it. You know what I mean? Like the different energy that I'm
Positive.
giving you,
Yeah,
the
man.
positive.
I got a definite 10.
Yeah, and so- for me, that's how I kind of want to go out, man. I don't know
Yeah.
when that time will be, but I know that I still got a couple more years
yeah.
in me.
Yeah.
Four
Hey,
to
well-
5 years left.
Well, I'll tell
You
you,
know
man,
what,
we're gonna
man?
enjoy those years.
I was
you
gonna
know?
say one thing before we close here is like it goes to show you like George Foreman, dude, rest in peace, but
oh, yeah, man.
when he came back and he won that title at his
Ah,
age,
bro.
Yeah.
damn,
he was
dude.
serious. He
Even
got
Bernard
really serious.
Hopkins, man.
Yeah, Bernard.
Hopkins,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like
Bernard was like a monk, bro. He didn't drink, he didn't party, he didn't
Yeah.
do nothing. You know what I mean? He was like his body was a temple, bro. Bernard
bro.
was like truth, bro. Bernard.
that's one thing I tell people all the
Yeah.
time, man. Like I've been in the amateurs with like all these really good Olympians
Mhm.
and stuff like that, and these guys talent got them far because
Yeah.
they're naturally talented,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
But their outside life
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
gets.
They
to
thought they
them.
were gonna get on. They thought they were only gonna get by on talent alone.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
But they're
yeah,
smoking
but
weed,
yep.
or they're doing
Because they think they're
drugs.
so talented, they
Yeah.
they think they could do all that stuff and still be what they
Yeah.
are, but talent only gets you so far.
I've never picked up a beer, man. I've never
Really?
smoked weed.
Clean.
I've never done no drugs, nothing, bro.
Yeah.
And that's why, like God has
Yeah.
put me in a place where like I deserve. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because
Yeah.
I've tried to do right I've tried to do right all the time and stuff. And I tell people that all the time. I tell kids, man, like just because you see your friend doing it doesn't mean like
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
Like that dude is gonna be an idiot in 10 years from now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hey,
Like,
that's the facts, man. That's what I've been telling my little niece. It don't matter what you're trying to impress all these little kids right now. You ain't gonna be thinking about them
mhm.
10, 15 years from now. You ain't gonna be
Yeah.
friends with them
Yeah.
anymore, man. They ain't gonna
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
So
You know?
that's one thing I try to, think
That's good.
I would like to leave
It's a
out,
good message.
man. Like
It's a good
to just
message.
for the
Yeah.
future, for the kids
Yeah.
and stuff, like to understand that like your friends probably be your friends right now, but in 10 years you're probably not gonna talk to them. And I'm
Exactly,
sure
man.
y'all have had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
I've had
important?
that.
What's important to you? 10, 20 years ago,
Yeah.
you thought it was the most
yeah.
important thing ever,
Not
right?
anymore.
But now it's not, right? Yeah.
You really
What's
think about
important
it.
now is future and making
Yeah.
money, bro.
Yeah. Just doing something, man.
Doing
Like,
something
doing
positive.
something positive,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
and just trying to keep the stuff going.
Yeah.
And understand that life is short.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 19. I remember when I was 15. I remember
Yeah.
I always every day I check my Facebook memories, bro. Like, I don't know if y'all go on Facebook and you can go to memories. I always check them, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, damn, in
Yeah.
2011 I was posting this. Or
Yeah.
2012 I was
You're like,
posting
what was I
this. Like,
thinking?
yeah,
Yeah.
like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
It just goes to show like
Yeah.
the how life,
Yeah,
how
changes.
Time
fast
goes
it
by quick.
man. It really goes like really, really fast. And then so for me, man, I've kept a real close like close
Close-knit.
circle,
Yeah.
and I've and everybody I have around me, man, I try to make sure that they have something going on. Like I tell my friends all the time, I'm like, bro, like make sure you have something going on with your
Yeah.
lives. I don't want to be hanging out with people who don't. And it's not to be mean, man. I've known
Mhm.
my friends since I was in high school, but
Yeah.
like, tell me who you hang out with, and I'll tell you who you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I
Tell me
mean?
who your friends are. I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing I try to tell them. Like, hey, man, like, look at where I've made it in my life.
Yeah.
Like I can retire today. I'm not be happy. I won't be happy, but I can retire today, buy myself a little house, and get a nice little job somewhere. And,
Yeah.
I'll live
Be all right.
comfortably, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I try to make sure that I keep my circle tight.
Yeah.
And keep them where they're motivating me as much as I'm motivating them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's one thing I try to tell the kids, man. To push them,
Yeah.
like understand that.
There's a
So-
saying, man. Your tribe dictates your vibe. The people you
cool.
surround yourself
that.
with,
Yeah.
they're gonna dictate how you are.
Yeah.
So surround yourself with
Yeah,
good people.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
It's like Entourage.
That one show, I remember
Yeah.
watching it when I was a kid. I shouldn't
Yeah.
have been watching it as a kid, but I remember that.
Yeah. No, that's
But yeah,
facts.
that's one thing. Like
Yeah.
I said, man, like whatever, like the kids of the future, man. Whatever they want to do, like just to really just stick to it
Yeah.
and
Stay
push-
motivated.
Stay motivated,
Yeah.
push it no matter how things get tough.
Yeah.
Just do the right thing and keep pushing towards the goal, man. And
Absolutely.
that's
It'll
really it.
happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
ready,
Hey,
man?
yeah, we're gonna wrap this show up, but before we go, where can they find you, man? On social media? On somebody was asking, do you have any merch?
Oh yeah, you got merch.
Anything like that, man?
You can follow me on social media, Dinamita Cardenas, basically on
Instagram, Twitter.
Instagram, on X.
Yep.
Ramon Dinamita.
Okay.
And then that's basically it. Facebook. I mean, Facebook is a little bit more personal.
Yeah, no, I, got
Yeah,
that. I don't even
yeah.
have Facebook anymore. But
Yeah,
yeah.
Facebook I don't delete
Yeah.
it just because it's been I've
Family,
had
you've
it for so
forever.
long,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I like to look at the dumb stuff
Yeah,
I used
yeah,
to post
yeah,
when
yeah.
I was a kid.
But yeah, so Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram and Instagram Dinamita Cardenas, Twitter Ramon Dinamita. That's basically it.
Cool. Yeah. So follow, give our guy a follow, man. Again, he's San Antonio's own. He's one of us. He's puro. He's got big things going in the future. Even if you're not a boxing fan, man, follow him just for the vibes. Again, he's got the Spurs connections and all that. So it'd be cool to see you and the Spurs grow together, right?
Yeah.
These players and see where they go. Again, for Joe, thank you for producing the show. Steph back there doing Steph things, always behind the scenes, always doing what she does. Again, you can follow me at Reels Fernandez. Appreciate you guys. This is a good show. It's a good show, man. I
It was
appreciate
actually a
you
good show.
coming,
It was
bro.
a
I
good
really
show.
do.
I liked
I
it.
know
I
you're
liked it.
busy, man. I know you had a lot, so I really appreciate
Yeah.
you coming out
Yeah.
here. And I know the fans, the chat was saying, you know, this is one of the better shows or a good show. So
They like it
appreciate
better when
everybody,
Mike's
man.
not
they like it
there.
when Mike's gone. Yeah, it's all good.
Nah,
but,
it's good, man. It's
but yeah,
it's
no,
a
we
good show to
appreciate
be
you, bro.
on.
Absolutely. Like I said, man, we small show, man. We nothing big time, but like we having folks like you helps us kind of grow and show us, you know, what the platform is, man. But again, man, appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro.
And I'll give you the last word, man. And whatever you
Nah,
got.
man, I already said what I had to say.
All right.
Just appreciate everybody.
All right, man. So on that note, we're out. We'll see you all on Monday. We're out. Peace.
Stay puro.